All right, good morning. Welcome to the Friday edition of the May 22nd through 23rd Board of Trustees meeting. We're meeting together as a full board. Madam Secretary, can I have you take roll, please?
Barahona,
Present.
Buenaventura, not present. Cisneros,
Present.
Good, not present. Gore, not present. Grande,
Present.
Harrison, User, Sowell,
Present.
Stallings,
Present.
Stevens, not present. Tony,
Present.
Trejo.
Present.
You have a quorum, Chair.
All right, thank you. All right, so first order of business is to go back to the first item, which is Chair's report. We'll then do Executive Director's report, and then go back through the agenda items on our open session, and then go into closed at some point. So regarding my report, we have been extremely busy, as you can tell, with the number of special meetings that have been set. We went through the minutes yesterday, but a majority of those meetings have to do with making right the issues with the February 2025 bar exam, and that has engaged a significant amount of staff resources and board time. And again, want to extend my thanks to staff and to the board for working in these very somewhat turbulent times. Really excited about the July bar. I think that based upon the staff report from yesterday, that we're on good standing to have that July bar go as smoothly as possible, and look forward to our somewhat or close to 10,000 individuals who are going to be sitting for the bar. So definitely an exciting time here. I wanted to go to item 2, which is approval of board committee appointments and update on the board liaison assignments. And we've had several kind of mid-term appointments, and so I wanted to make the changes here. Board liaison assignments are not subject to board approval, but I wanted to announce to the board that I've asked Ryan Harrison to be our Rule 2201 program liaison, and so Trustee Harrison has agreed to serve in that capacity, so we're really happy to have his experience in that role. What I would turn to now are the board committee appointments, and so recognizing that it is late in the board year, but want to make sure that people are plugged in where they can best serve. And so to that end, in order to increase the to make sure that no trustee is overburdened, I'm going to be switching out a couple of trustees with the recent appointees. So on the Finance Committee, I'll be removing Trustee Buenaventura, or asking the board to approve removing Trustee Buenaventura and appointing Trustee Gore to serve on Finance. Trustee Buenaventura remains on Audit. And then on the Audit Committee, going to be removing Trustee Barahona. She will continue to serve on Finance, where her exceptional skills are tremendously appreciated. And in Trustee Barahona's place, I'll be appointing Trustee Harrison. We're seeking to have the board approve that appointment. So I think we have a resolution on screen. So I think we need to remove, I should have provided that previously. Remove,
Does it need to be amended to reflect the
think so.
removals?
yeah.
Maybe a further result.
Buenaventura was from finance.
Correct.
And Barahona from audit.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. So that is the motion that I'm asking the board to, I guess, have a first and a second, and then to approve. I don't know if there's any questions, comments. All right, thank you.
Second.
All right, first by trustee Sewell, second by trustee Harrison. May I have a roll call vote?
Barahona,
Aye.
Buenaventura, not present. Cisneros,
Aye.
Good, not present. Gore, not present. Grande,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
User, Soel,
Aye.
Stevens, not present. Tony,
Aye.
Trejo,
Aye.
Stallings.
Aye.
8, that's 9 ayes, 0 nays, motion carries.
Great, thank you. And my thanks to trustees Barahona and Buenaventura, and look forward to your continued service on these other boards and kind of leveling out the workload. So appreciate everybody's work in this area. All right, this next portion is definitely bittersweet, and I'm going to go over to our executive director, Leah Wilson, for a special presentation about a staff member.
I didn't quite get that, Brandon, even though you told me. So let me get that going.
Want to do it later?
No, we can do it. I just didn't have it. I thought you were going to read it. I'm so sorry. So this is a resolution from the board about you, Louisa. So
Here, I'll read it.
okay. Sorry for our communication breakdown.
Yeah, no, it's my fault. I called too many audibles this morning. All right, so the bittersweet thing that I'm talking about is our beloved board secretary Louisa Arpetian is going to be seeking to better herself, better the community in a new venture, and we are so incredibly excited for her stepping into this new opportunity. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be easy to say goodbye, because Louisa has been an exceptional individual here at the State Bar, and I'll read through a board resolution that I'll be asking for approval on. It was even demonstrated earlier today, just the importance of Louisa. Sometimes I feel like we are on the Starship Enterprise, Star Trek Next Generation. The mission that we have, I think, is very similar. And as they say in Star Trek Next Generation, the continuing mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before. Sorry, I know this sounds really, really nerdy, but I do have a point here. At the end of all of these grand adventures, someone, usually Captain Picard, would say, "Make it so." And whoever was sitting at the helm would direct the ship, listen to all this complicated, engineering data and quantum physics or whatever. But there was always a "make it so." And Louisa has been that "make it so" individual for an exceptionally long time, and has done it with grace and with incredible organizational skills. I've seen it firsthand working alongside her, doing the appointments process and handling enormous amounts of data, enormous amounts of personality, if I could put it that way, and doing things in a deft and just gracious manner at all times. And so whenever you're asked to make it so, there's never a complaint, there's never a no, I can't do that, but it's a collaboration on how we can actually make it so. And so as board chair for the past 2 years, that has been something that is immeasurable. and you have you leave very big shoes to fill, and look forward to seeing like the 3 or 4 people that are going to have to replace what you do. And I think this board resolution really captures some of these thoughts. So I'm going to read the resolution, and then I'm going to open it up for comment, including Leah Wilson, who I know has some remarks. But the resolution I'm going to ask this board to pass reads, whereas Louisa has demonstrated exceptional dedication and versatility throughout her remarkable 13-year tenure with the State Bar of California, advancing steadily from Administrative Assistant 1 in the admissions office in February 2012 through 8 progressive positions spanning seven different offices, ultimately rising to her current role as Principal Program Analyst 2 in the Executive Director's Office, showcasing her adaptability, institutional knowledge, and commitment to the State Bar's mission. And whereas Louisa has served the State Bar of California with exceptional dedication and professionalism, demonstrating outstanding leadership in board governance and management. And whereas Louisa has been a steadfast pillar of support for Board of Trustees and committee coordinators, developing the first ever coordinators manual, facilitating monthly coordinator meetings, implementing best practices and meeting procedures, and ensuring compliance with Bagley-Keene open meeting requirements. And whereas Louisa demonstrated remarkable initiative in modernizing board communications by developing a SharePoint site for information storage and sharing, transitioning weekly board blasts to a newsletter format. And whereas Louisa implemented and successfully launched a one-meeting agenda management system, creating comprehensive guidelines, manuals, and resources while training board members, committee members, and staff on its effective use. There are several other resolutions that talk about embracing technology and innovation, making significant improvements to the State Bar's public comment process, her unwavering yes we can spirit, patience and abundance, exceptional ability to maintain composure and clarity while juggling a multitude of tasks, and being one of the most approachable and kindest individuals at the State Bar, all of which have earned her the profound respect and admiration of the Board of Trustees, committee members, and staff. And whereas Louisa has been the executive director's right hand and left hand, right brain and left brain, providing the perfect balance of creativity and structure, vision and detail, to such an extent that the executive director's own successes are inextricably linked to Louisa's exceptional talents. And whereas Louisa's contributions to the State Bar of California have significantly enhanced the organization's governance process, communication protocols, and operational efficiency, now, therefore, be it resolved that the State Bar Board of Trustees expresses its profound gratitude and deepest appreciation to Louisa for her exemplary service, remarkable accomplishments, and invaluable contributions to ensuring that the State Bar of California effectively fulfills its public protection mission. And I hope that, as the resolution reads, adopted by the State Bar of California Board of Trustees on today's date, I hope that is an eventual motion. But before we get to that, if there's any debate, hopefully not too much for or against, but I do want to turn it over to our Executive Director, Leah Wilson, regarding comments about Louisa.
Sure. Well, I think that the one resolution there, or the clause that you read, Chair Stallings, about the significant impact you've had on me, and I don't want to get emotional, but I am really grateful, and it was surprising and disturbing the other night. Some of you know we took Louisa out to celebrate, and I learned that she had some apprehensions about coming to work for me when I offered her the job from another colleague who said Louisa had called her when I offered her to come be my right hand and said, should I do it? And I'm so glad that you did. So Louisa has just shown remarkable growth here in her career at the bar. You heard that she started off as an administrative assistant. She's really reflective, I think, of the kind of overall culture of success that we've tried to develop here at the organization. And I just would say, Louisa, that we are also dependent on you and grateful to you. It's going to be impossible to replace you, as you know. That being said, I am incredibly happy for you. I think this is such a role model move you're making, that at this stage in your life and as successful you are in this career, you're deciding to step back and do something totally different. So cheers to you, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Any board members wish to make comment? Yes, Vice Chair Cisneros.
Yes, I will join the chorus of praise here, and I know a lot of my colleagues also will do the same. But Louisa, you've been around for the entire time that I've been on the Board of Trustees, and I just want to say it's made an immeasurable difference to, I believe, the success of my journey here, and I'm guessing everybody else that's had a chance to work with you. I'm very proud of what you've been able to do and what we've been able to do together. You've been a huge help, and great, great, great congratulations on your next journey, and wish you all the success.
Trustee Tony.
Louisa, I want to thank you for all the support you've provided me as a trustee, particularly your really, I think, transformation of the board minutes to become so much more professional, to really accurately reflect the most important things that were discussed. I brought up yesterday about your willingness to do the hard work of listing every single public comment so that we have a record of that. I mean, board minutes are just, they're the permanent record of the organization at the end of the day of any organization. And board minutes often get overlooked as something that's not important, nobody wants to look at. It's almost like a consent item. But in fact, board minutes are absolutely critical. And you've done such a great job making sure that the record, the permanent record of the organization, is both succinct and precise. Thank you.
All right. Oh, yes, Trustee Sewell.
First of all, I would just like to say that I think everything that is embodied in that resolution about Louisa is accurate, and I think, and then some. I think that there are those that quietly, through their sort of quiet competence, walk around organizations sort of overlooked sometimes and unsung. And I just know that Louisa has made a very, very indelible mark on this organization and on our work, from little things to big things. I know just for me, I am not necessarily always the most technologically on top of stuff person. And I have called Louisa at various points in time because I'm stuck on something or I can't get access to something. And somehow, some way, she always gets back to me, or she picks up my call and walks me through it. And very, sometimes I've called her 50 times on the same thing. And it's always the same sort of demeanor and supportive nature and the like. And so I just I really appreciate all that about her. I look forward to hearing how things go as you move forward, Louisa, and just wish you all the luck in the world.
I'll say something.
Yes.
Although I'm new to the board, you made my integration into this organization very easy, and you were so responsive. And even with the minutes that you take, they're very thorough. And so I know you're going to be great moving forward into your next steps, and you're going to bring those skill sets along with you, and your contributions to the world and your next occupation are going to be significant and lasting.
Thank you.
Yes, Trustee Barahona.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to echo the sentiment in the room and the comments, and congratulate you on your next steps, Lisa. I think that, so much of your work is really about creating the conditions for change in any space that you enter. And I know for me, I really felt welcomed by you. And I think the care that you provide and all that you do is really apparent and I think palpable. And I think that's the work, right? I think the work is how you show up, how you treat folks, how you talk to folks, how you move in the world. And you do that so beautifully and effortlessly. So I just have felt that, I think, throughout my time here at the State Bar. And I think you're what justice looks like in action. So keep on doing what you do, and congrats to you on the next steps.
Yes, trustee Trejo.
Louisa, I'm like 75% sure that some of the stuff that you do for me is already outside of the realm of of the scope of what you do, but you've been too nice to tell me. So I want to thank you for being very patient. I'm a little bit kind of scattered when it comes to my organization and when it comes to planning these things. So, and the best of luck on your new endeavor. It sounds fascinating. So thank you so much.
Yes, trustee Grande.
I just also echo the sentiments of my colleagues. Lisa, you just bring grace and ease to everything that you do. And coming onto this board, there's a lot. And you made it so that as someone new to the board, I could focus on the most important things and know that there was always someone there who had my back whenever there was anything that would come up. And it's just such a powerful skills to bring to any organization. So I'm just so excited for what's next for you and what you'll get to create in those new spaces.
Yes, trustee Huser.
Won't restate everything already said, but I think you're hearing a theme of we're all special needs in many ways, and you made us all feel special instead of special needs. So thank you very much, and really best of luck in your next endeavor. They are lucky to have you, and you cannot be replaced, but we wish you so well, and please let us know how you're doing.
Louisa, would you like to address the board?
I do want to say just thank you to each of you. I personally stepped into this role not really knowing what it meant to be a board secretary. I did know what it meant to be an executive assistant, but definitely a board secretary was unfamiliar territory. And I would say that each of you, you have helped me figure out my role, my purpose, and that is something that I'm definitely going to take with me into my next profession. So I'm forever grateful for the relationships that I've built. I think I have a unique relationship with each of you. So I'm so excited to see what you all will continue to do. And obviously, this is not a goodbye in my opinion. It's we're going to continue to work together in some capacity. I will be in touch. And so thank you very much, Chair Stallings, Vice Chair Cisneros, Leah. Biggest honor was having to work with you. So thank you.
All right. I don't think that anything else can be said. Yes. And the only thing that really could be said is, may I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Thank you. I will second. And that is a first by Vice Chair Cisneros, second by myself. Is it gauche to ask for you to take a roll call vote?
I think that's my job. Barahona,
Aye.
Buenaventura, not present. Cisneros,
Aye.
Good, not present. Gore, not present. Grande. Aye. Harrison,
Aye.
Huser,
Aye.
Sowell,
Aye.
Stevens, not present. Tony,
Aye.
Trejo,
Aye.
Stallings.
Aye.
It's 10 ayes, 0 nays, motion carries.
All right, the second aspect of this exceptionally bittersweet meeting is that this is also our executive director's last in-person meeting. I know that we have a couple other special meetings coming up, but also wanted to take this opportunity to present a resolution to the board and to try and capture some of what makes Leah exceptional and an incredible person. And so I'm going to be asking the board to approve the following resolution. I'll make some comments and then welcome any comments after that. Resolution in appreciation of Leah T. Wilson. Whereas Leah Wilson will conclude her service as Executive Director of the State Bar of California on July 7th, 2025, after nearly 10 years of dedicated service as Chief Operations Officer and Executive Director to the organization, the legal profession, and the people of California. And whereas under Leah Wilson's leadership, the State Bar has embraced a culture of excellence, reshaping the organization's internal structures to better serve both the public and the legal profession. And whereas Leah Wilson cultivated the State Bar as an exemplary workplace through strategic investments in professional development, equitable compensation structures, and values-driven organization that fosters engagement and retention. And whereas, due entirely to Leah Wilson's initiative and vision, all State Bar staff know that our values are clarity, investing in people, excellence, respect, growth mindset, and to hold these values across the organization. Whereas Leah Wilson has demonstrated extraordinary fiscal leadership, securing vital resources for the organization through 2 fee increases, improving fiscal management practices, and developing innovative solutions for debt management that balance collection needs with fairness. And whereas under Leah Wilson's leadership and in collaboration with the board, the Ad Hoc Committee on Oversight and Accountability Reforms, the Office of General Counsel, a number of conflict of interest and other accountability and governance reforms were successfully implemented. And whereas Leah Wilson has been and to this day remains dedicated to transparency, accountability, and excellence for the organization, and help the Board of Trustees shape strategic plans designed to achieve these goals. And whereas Leah Wilson led the State Bar through a structural transformation, separating the trade association function in 2018 in order to transform the State Bar into a true regulatory agency with a renewed focus on public protection. Whereas Leah Wilson, in collaboration with the Board of Trustees, strengthened public protection, including the development and implementation of the Client Trust Account Protection Program and Rule 8.3 of the Rules of Professional Conduct. And whereas Leah Wilson pioneered groundbreaking initiatives to address systemic inequities in the legal profession, including implementing data-driven strategies and evidence-based approaches to promote fairness in the attorney discipline system, create mechanisms to measure and promote diversity throughout California's legal community, and address critical access to justice challenges. And whereas Leah Wilson expanded access to justice by spearheading research on legal service gaps throughout California, studying innovative programs, and developing solutions to address unmet legal needs across all income levels. And whereas Leah Wilson championed equity and inclusion within the legal profession through pioneering research on systemic disparities through the Attorney Disparities Studies and the Ad Hoc Commission on the Discipline System. And now, therefore be it resolved that the State Bar Board of Trustees expresses its profound gratitude and appreciation to Leah Wilson for her exceptional leadership, visionary initiatives, and significant contributions that have strengthened the State Bar of California and enhanced its ability to fulfill its public protection mission. And be it further resolved that the State Bar Board of Trustees extends its warmest wishes to Leah Wilson for continued success and fulfillment in all her future endeavors. And that is the resolution I will be asking everyone to pass here in just a couple of minutes. And I think this resolution attempts to capture the heart that Leah has for policy. I always kind of refer to her as like a policy nerd, maven, whatever. This pinnacle. Leah does not stop thinking about policy, whether it's in the legal profession, energy, whatever it might be. Leah is incredibly driven by policy. But she not only thinks about policy, she has a heart for whatever she's talking about, and a heart that I think that really beats for what's best for all of California. And not only does she have a heart for whatever she's seeking to do, but she has a grace and a humility that she approaches the issue from. And that humility is important because Leah knows more about most anything than everybody else. She knows about the State Bar in a way that no one else, I believe, has truly been able to capture. But Leah doesn't stop there with just knowing something. She has a heart for how to implement a policy that she believes is correct and the right thing to do. Some of us on the board are trial lawyers. I'm used to convincing 12 people beyond a reasonable doubt as to, as to facts. And I think Leah has an immeasurably more complicated and difficult task because she has to bring us together as a board of 4 different appointing agencies, building consensus on a board with those 4 different appointing agencies. And not only that, working with multiple unions that are here at the state bar, and then working intricately and politically through the 3 branches of the government in order to do what's best for California. And on top of that, she's regulating a profession that is built upon this adversarial system where there's, depending upon what happens, 50% of the people are going to be happy, 50% of the people are not going to be happy, and usually no one's happy. And so Leah has stepped into a role and an enviable task of trying to regulate that profession. And she has done so with, again, that grace, determination, and being incredibly prepared. She was entrusted to carry out the direction of the legislature and the will of the board when it came to separation. And, that happened about 10 years ago. And it is still fresh in my mind, the environment that I came into, where on the board there was incredible division, there was incredible, there wasn't an alignment on thinking, and you, through your work and through your tenacity, brought us together as a board. And I look at this board, I look at the collegiality and the alignment of vision and purpose, and we can really point back to you for that clarity of what the state bar should be here in California. You leave this organization in a better and a hopeful position, an organization that has made the necessary and tough decisions to set us on a course of excellence. And like many things in life, there's much work to be done, but I truly believe that you are the best thing to happen to the state bar, that you have set us on a path that would not have been possible without your personal drive, the political will to get things done, and the untold hours that you have dedicated to this organization. So I will greatly miss working with you and greatly miss the thought and care that you bring to each decision, no matter how small or how big, and the way that you approach it in a strategic and gracious manner. So you will be missed. Definitely wish you the best of luck. And I want to turn it over to the board for any other remarks.
Chair, if you'll grant me the opportunity
Absolutely.
to share some thoughts. Jose Cisneros, Vice Chair. Leah, my entire time on the board has been post-division. I've thoroughly enjoyed the opportunity to serve, but also really enjoyed the opportunity to work on a number of different matters as part of this Board of Trustees. I will say that all the way through that journey and all that work, you have truly been a partner in helping me, and I believe all of us, make that journey as successfully as possible. One of the earliest appointments I got at that time was on the Committee of Access and Fairness. And it was a appointment that really spoke to my heart and my passion. But being able to discuss issues and what was going on the ground with you really made my involvement there important. One of the next areas that I got to focus on was the Jenny Commission. Another, I think, really exciting and important opportunity and engagement that the board has with public service and the appointment of judges and the clarification and screening of them. A very energized body, one that's passionately doing great work, but one we needed to work with better and to continue to strengthen that. So again, being able to partner with you on that effort. Probably one of the most exciting opportunities I had, and again, I really credit your help with me bringing this to our body, is the Client Trust Account Protection Program. When we went through that horrible journey with the Girardi scandal and all the realities that brought to light and the terrible outcomes, we knew we needed to make a change. I was happy to bring some ideas, but it was really only with partnership with you and the rest of the board that we could turn this into a real living, ongoing and important body of work that's going to make a difference for all folks in California as we go forward and do this work. But also talking about technology with you, with governance, with personnel. It's been enlightening to me, but I've been also given the opportunity through you to make a difference, to help and to brainstorm, and I've thoroughly enjoyed that. I really appreciated how you spent time with each and every one of us trustees during our entire time of service on the board, but particularly in the time I've been able to serve with Chair Stallings. It's even brought us closer and given us more opportunity to work together. I want to thank you personally for that, but of course, credit you with an incredible success you've brought to this organization. We will be missing you a lot.
I'd like to share some words. So although I'm new to the Board of Trustees, I served on the Council on Access and Fairness, including being the chair, and I very much appreciated the support and constant communication and accessibility that Leah provided. I'm also a product of the California legislature. I worked in the Senate twice, 2 separate tenures. And part of my role with the Senate Rules Committee when I was there was monitoring government agencies and working with them on various policy initiatives. And one of the things that I discovered was that there were certain heads of agencies that were bureaucrats that towed the line, that said, we've been doing this in the past, so we'll just keep doing it in the future. And then there were others that were visionary leaders who saw opportunity for change and had the courage to identify those areas and make suggestions based on their vision. And Leah, you certainly are a visionary leader. And in order to be that type of person, it requires an incredible amount of courage. And so I want to acknowledge your courage. And, you know, I want to say thank you for all that you have done for your return to the bar for the second tenure that you had here. And I want to tell everyone that I actually gave Leah an award about 3 years ago when I was the president of the Black Bar Association in the region that covers Sacramento for her efforts in addressing the disparities when it came to African-American attorneys being overly prosecuted in, you know, by the bar and other areas with diversifying the legal profession. And it really meant a lot to me to be able to give her that award. And so thank you for all that you do and all that you're going to continue to do.
Yes, Trustee Trejo.
So I can't really speak to, my God, the depth of what you've done to this organization. I mean, really, it's amazing. But I do want to tell you that I appreciate how you jump into issues and how you're very well versed in them, and you care enough to explain it to someone like me, who's obvious. We come from different backgrounds in that way, but to do it and to do it in a kind-hearted way is very rare in the professional world that I've seen, and so for that I'm grateful. I'm so hopeful to see what you're going to be doing, and I hope that we continue being friends as well. So thank you for all your stewardship to this organization and to me as a board member. Thank you.
Trustee Huser.
Yeah, Leah, I would say, you know, when I think about leadership, I say the greatest compliment is you can't teach heart. And your heart is extraordinary in every way. You're hearing the comments about specifics, but in general, you just care so deeply about getting to the right answer, to getting to thinking about all the different constituents that you have to think about in this role. And that is rare, and that is true leadership, and that is what has made you and us and the bar so successful under your leadership. And thank you for that.
Trustee Tony.
Leah, I am someone who knows how challenging it is to be an executive director. I'm saying that because you are not just an outstanding executive director, the kind that is so rare in state government. I gotta tell you, back to what Trustee Harrison was saying, so rare. But you're also a transformational leader, which is even more rare. And I've seen and been so inspired by your ability to build consensus among a very wide, diverse group of people on this board of trustees. And I know that you will be absolutely successful in applying your transformational leadership skills wherever you go. And I always hope to be a partner with you in that. Thank you.
Trustee Sewell.
I call myself a refrigerator magnet type of a guy. And the reason why I say that is because on my refrigerator at home, I have magnets of all the various places that either I've traveled or my kids have traveled. But I also have a bunch of quotes that are on my refrigerator from that help to inspire me and help me to stay grounded. And one of those quotes is a quote by Dr. King that says, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" And I believe that embodies sort of the North Star by which Leah not only leads this organization, but also carries herself. There are never conversations that she and I have, or that she has, I'm sure, with other members of the board that don't embody the way she views or her efforts to try to ensure the fact that we're doing right by our regulated community, that we're doing right by the board staff in terms of her approach to management and to leadership of this organization, to the stakeholder community, in which there are so many that we have to sort of juggle and deal with, and that she has to juggle and deal with. And she does it in a way that is constantly an effort to be collaborative, an effort to be an innovator, to be a risk taker, as well as an effort to try to move this, not only this organization, but to move and to challenge our thinking in ways that I'm sure sometimes we may not think to go there. And so that's been appreciative. She's led this organization through some very, very challenging times. And that's to be recognized. And I have to also admit that I haven't always agreed with the posture or the position. But those conversations have always been conversations that have been professional. Those conversations have always been conversations that have led to, I think, the best outcomes, as well as those are conversations that often have been recirculated after either she or I have had a chance to sort of think on what we've expressed to each other. And so I just am appreciative of how she's helped me grow, how she's helped me think about my own organization that I lead, and I'm just deeply, deeply thankful, grateful, and appreciative of how she's helped to position this organization where it is now. And I do wish you the best, Leah. I hope our paths do continue to cross, and I just feel good about where it is we find ourselves now, and that's all thanks to you.
Trustee Grande.
I think Trustee Tony had the words that I was thinking of when I think of you, which is a transformational leader. And, as someone who came into this role and had a certain limited view of the bar, as someone who, I paid my dues every year and I had a bunch of complaints, right? And when we had our first conversation, I was just so grateful to hear how open and generous you were with listening and being willing to hear different perspectives. And I think that's been so underappreciated, because these last 10 years have been a very challenging time for the state bar, addressing a lot of the issues that have been here for, countless years before that. And to have someone at the helm that really has had a vision of what the bar could be, and how it could address the inequities. I, as someone who is a part of one of those communities, so grateful that you've been at the helm of the state bar, and that you've also put in the work to develop leadership around you so that that work can continue even when you're not here. So I'm grateful for everything you've done, everything we haven't seen you do in service of this organization and in service of the public who will be impacted in a positive way through everything that you've done. So thank you.
Yes, Trustee Barahona.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo, I think, the sentiment in the room, but also, when we first had our first conversation, Leah, I asked, what was the sort of appetite and for change on this board and for you as a leader, and it was really the way in which you answered that question, but also when I take a step back now, I realized you had been creating that appetite for change for so long. You'd been sort of cultivating it and watching it grow. And so we find ourselves today in this strong position as an organization because of that. I think that as a leader, also as a leader of color at a nonprofit organization, I've learned so much from you in this process, and sort of watching the way in which you sort of navigate the moment and the moments in all these different kinds of ways has been really beautiful to sort of be a part of and bear witness to. You have not just challenged sort of the status quo, you really have redefined what's possible for the state bar. And I think that's really important gift to leave us with. I always appreciate a leader that can pair rigor with righteousness, because I think those two ingredients are really core to creating change. And I think that's what we've seen you do. That's what I've seen you do. And just a deep appreciation for every step you've taken to get there. And I look forward to our paths crossing as well. Thank you.
Would you like to say anything?
Yes, I feel I'm sort of overwhelmed, and I know that we have an agenda to get to. But I hope you will indulge me, because it is my last in-person meeting. And after hearing all of this, I was thinking about these remarks and feeling like, oh, they're a little out of sync with what I've heard. But I want to share these as much for myself and the board as for my staff, because this has been a difficult last few months. The last few months, we've been rightfully focused on the challenges surrounding the February bar exam. That focus and the criticism that we've received, that I've personally received, has been appropriate and deserved. And I want to assure the applicants, our staff, the board, that I will continue working to fix what went wrong with that exam until my last day on the job. That being said, the state bar is much more than one failed bar exam. And I really want to take the opportunity to talk about all of the other things that we are. And I'm so grateful that I've heard some of that today. Our mission to protect the public impacts millions of Californians. And through our relentless commitment to bringing that mission to life, you see work in all aspects of our organizational chart that tie directly to our dedication to improving the legal profession and protecting the public. We are a vibrant, dynamic organization that has found ways to fulfill our mission throughout every aspect of our work. And this is something to cherish, value, and preserve. We've embraced ethical rigor. You heard that a little bit in the chair's resolution, and I had not seen that resolution before. But yesterday you heard from your 2201 administrator. And those of you that are, all of you probably except Brandon, you just take that for what it is. Great, we're getting a report from our administrator. You may not know that we didn't used to have one. When I came to the bar, the administrator was a member of the senior executive team, and there were some problems, including ghostwriting of the reports, including stacked conflicts complaints that just weren't going anywhere because we didn't pay any conflicts attorneys to do the work. All of that has radically changed. Not only do we have this dedicated function, but internally, we talk about Form 700 compliance, identifying our conflicts as staff, as board members, our volunteers. All of that is new. We report on our compliance, not just internally, but to the public, because we believe in holding ourselves accountable. We have transformed this organization into one that is ethical and accountable. We focus not just on what we do, but how well we do it. Trustee Trejo, you might have seen me get really excited yesterday when you brought up recidivism. I love the topic. Why? Because it's so important that we not just count our widgets and get satisfied by checking the boxes of activities that we engage in, but that we focus on our effectiveness. I am so proud to say that that is a paradigm shift that has occurred in this organization. So you, Vice Chair, talked about the Client Trust Account Protection Program, an initiative we should all be incredibly proud of. But what are we trying to do there? We're trying to ensure compliance with the rules governing management of client trust accounts. What is one way we can see if that has actually been effective? We can look at complaints coming in from banks about client trust accounts. And guess what? Since we have launched the program, they have gone down. That is how you know that what we are doing is working. And I can give you those examples throughout the organization. I'm not in the interest of time, but what I will tell you is a focus on results is a paradigm shift here. We are a transformed organization. As you've heard in some of the remarks, we have made diversity, equity, inclusion, and access built in, not bolted on. When I arrived, we were thrilled to have the work of COAF. We were proud of all the grant making we did in legal services, but we did not conceptualize how a commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion, and access should manifest in all areas of our work, not just through a committee and not just through grant making. So you have heard about our diversity report card. You know about the DEI leadership seal. You may know that as a workforce, we publish our own statistics, and not just at the aggregate level, but showing by levels of hierarchy in our own classification system, our diversity. Are we diverse at the top, not just at the bottom? And we publish those statistics. You know about the work that we've done to address racial disparities in our attorney discipline system. You may not know, because it precedes many of your tenures, that we radically transformed the moral character process to address how we were taking into account prior criminal history. And we did that to say we are an organization that believes that people can rehabilitate and change. I can give you examples on and on. Just yesterday, you approved out for comment the rules around fee waivers, free transcripts, our Fresh Start settlement program, debt collection. All of these are designed to make our system more accessible and more fair. We are a transformed organization. We reimagined public protection. So before, when I arrived, our public protection was our attorney discipline system. And obviously, and it was our Office of the Chief Trial Counsel. And that, of course, critically, the most important, perhaps, function that we perform. But we understand now that public protection is much greater than just processing disciplinary complaints. This board established our first ever ombudsperson, our public trust liaison. And that liaison is here to serve the public. And guess what we've learned? What does the public want most from the state bar? They want help finding a lawyer. We didn't know that before. But because we know it, we've invested significantly in how to help connect people to lawyers through certified lawyer referral services so they will not be taken advantage of. Similarly, we've reimagined what it means to protect the public in terms of how we work with attorneys. Again, before it was a bit of a gotcha system. We'll wait till that complaint comes in and we're gonna catch you. Now we understand that in helping attorneys avoid contact with the discipline system, in supporting them in being compliant, we are in fact protecting the public. And we've established a regulatory division precisely with this intent in mind. That is new. We are a transformed organization. I so appreciate the recognition about how I have cared about this staff. And I want to highlight that here. We have invested in our people. That is a core value of this organization. When I arrived, and Brandon remembers this, and I know Erica, we talked about this the other day, there were labor protests at our board meetings. You guys have not had to experience that. You walked around in the offices very divided between labor and management. That was the culture at the State Bar. In an early staff survey that I issued here when I was Chief Operating Officer, I was horrified at when we got back. Our staff were disillusioned, disengaged. They saw no path for career advancement in this organization. Fast forward to today. We have a dedicated talent engagement and development unit that is here to help our staff succeed and promote and advance. We have an entirely new classification system so that you can see if you come in here, this is how you get here, how you can make the Louisa journey. Our staff feel engaged and connected from the mailroom to the courtroom. As those who are familiar with the book, My Leadership Bible, The Advantage, know, organizational health trumps everything else in business or in government. We are a healthy organization where our employees feel heard. This culture is precious and not to be squandered. And last but not least, of course, we are financially stable with clean audits and fee increases supported by the California State Auditor. And this is true even with the crises of the February bar exam. We can withstand it because of our overall financial health. I want to thank this board and the dozens of board members I've had the privilege of working with over the last 10 years. Those who've hired me, promoted me, challenged me, criticized me, and supported me. You have all made me so much better, and I appreciate you. Of course, to our exceptional staff, you are the life force of the State Bar, and I couldn't have achieved any of this without you. California is the 4th largest economy in the world. We are the birthplace of virtually every major technological innovation in the last 50 years. There is no reason why the State Bar of California should not lead the way. One failure, albeit a very significant one, should not disrupt our course of dynamism and progress. Let's learn, grow, and move forward. In closing, I want to quote James Baldwin. I love hearing that about your refrigerator quotes. I have a notes quotes in my iPhone. So here's my quote from James Baldwin. Those who say it can't be done are usually interrupted by those who are doing it. So I want to say thank you to all of the interrupters that have made all that has happened here over the last 10 years possible. Thank you.
We're going to present on the next item. We can get through it. Okay. I will make the motion to approve the resolution, or one that conforms to the resolution that I just read. Can I have a second?
Second.
All right. First by chair, second by vice chair. Secretary, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Barahona,
Aye.
Ventura, not present. Cisneros,
Aye.
Good, not present. Gore, not present. Grande,
Aye.
Harrison,
Aye.
Huser, Sowell,
Aye.
Stevens, not present. Tony,
Aye.
Trejo,
Aye.
Stallings.
Aye.
It's 10 ayes, sorry, that's 9 ayes, 0 nays, motion carries.
I think another round. of applause. Okay, I'm not sure how we're going to do after this. Okay.
You want to go back to admission?
Everybody's favorite topic. Let's do it. All right. So we had a robust discussion yesterday about admissions. We received a very vital report from Ms. Hershkowitz, and we trailed really the discussion for next steps to be taken by the board in collaboration with Supreme Court and Committee of Bar Examiners. We trailed that to today for further discussion, so we can kind of sit, sleep on some of these issues, and then come back hopefully a little bit more recharged. One of the things that Leah did yesterday in order to help kind of frame this discussion is put together a couple of kind of a matrix of things that I think the board should consider as important, not important, and then really just ways that we can measure, ways that we can capture statistically, not capture statistically, but ways that we can determine how well we're going to do in these various areas of concern regarding the administration of future bar exams. And so, does Louisa have that slide,
I think Donna.
or Donna?
Yeah, I have the slide.
Changes, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, really what I want the board to take a look at, and now my slide's not moving forward, there we go, and this is sort of the capturing the things that you were all talking about yesterday. And the idea being, this is a starting point for this discussion. We want to make sure that we are identifying the guiding principles. You saw sort of the last slide, sort of the lead into this was the assumption that that you were going to be asking the Committee of Bar Examiners to take into consideration these guiding principles and priorities in developing their recommendations for development and administration of a future California bar exam. But I want to focus now on what are those principles, the principles and priorities that this board wants to set. So hearing yesterday, I believe it was Trustee Tony, doing it right is more important than doing it fast. It's more important than doing it cheap. We talked about the priority of ensuring that we can deliver a reliable and predictable exam, the priority of minimizing risk. We talked about if changes are made, phase their rollout. Trustee Soel, if changes are made, use proven technology with appropriate testing and risk minimization. Trustee Harrison, making sure that we're delivering an exam that appropriately assesses for minimum competence to practice law in the state of California. And then we talked about the guiding principles that we borrowed from the Blue Ribbon Commission about creating an exam that is accessible, affordable, fair, and equitable for test takers. That is the starting point, and I am prepared to sit here and type as you help shape these priorities, either the ones that are already on here or other priorities and principles that you would like for the Committee of Bar Examiners to take into consideration.
All right. I think we have a really good starting place, and to add to that, we'll start with Trustee Harrison.
Yes, so I just want to share with the board the way I see things moving forward into the future. I know we have a multi-year contract with Kaplan, and I'd like to acknowledge that I believe Kaplan is good at what they do. You know, Kaplan helped me get into a UC law school when I barely got out of undergrad, barely, right? I needed to do well on the LSAT, and I took the Kaplan prep course, and it got me where I needed to be. And so I have a lot of affinity toward Kaplan, and I believe and have faith that they can deliver a product that is going to more accurately capture the practice of law in California on a future revised bar exam. I took a look at the NCBE's Next Gen Bar Exam questions, and although I do think that they are an improvement on what we have seen with the NBEs, it doesn't get us to where I think we need to be. Every question has its own fact pattern, and you have to essentially memorize and become familiar with a new fact pattern for every single question. That's not what the practice of law is like in California. And when you're representing a client, you have a fact pattern, you have a scenario that you become familiar with, and several issues arise out of that scenario that can cross over into different areas of law, like constitutional law, maybe crim law, crim procedure, various areas. And I think that a longer fact pattern with several questions, maybe 10 to 20, based off of a longer fact pattern, more captures what it's like to practice law in California. And, you know, this can be whatever we and the CBE want it to be. I know that we essentially have veto power over contracts, and the CBE is going to lead the charge in designing this. But imagine a future where, specific to the multiple choice question, because I'm happy with the practice test and the essays, okay? But specific to the multiple choice questions, where a test taker can answer 10 to 20 questions based off of a long form fact pattern. And then maybe there are some scenarios where there's a closed universe of case law and statutory law that can be referred to, that's incorporated into multiple choice questions, right? These are the types of things lawyers do when they practice law. And overall, switching gears, I have come to find, as an employment attorney, and employment law is a very broad area of law. It incorporates several subsets of areas of law. It's very difficult to be an employment attorney. I have found that being an employment attorney is a lot easier than taking the bar exam, frankly. And so why is it so hard? Why is the pass rate historically 33%? I mean, if this new revised bar exam has a similar pass rate as to what recently happened with the last bar exam, 56% almost, I'm not upset about that. You know, it could lead to more diversity in the legal profession, more access to justice. And these are essentially global missions that we're hoping to accomplish, I believe. And so with that, I'll yield.
Well said. Any other ideas, guiding principles, things that we believe are important? Yes, Trustee Grande.
I do think that access and affordability should be a part of our guiding principles. Especially considering that we may have to raise the fees in the future for the bar exam. I think that, you know, a couple of meetings ago, we looked at the updates on the demographics of attorneys in California. And later on, I know we're going to talk about access to justice and looking at ways. It's not about doing it cheap, but it's definitely about looking at how we can make sure that it remains affordable. Because a lot of first generation attorneys just, you know, they don't have that support system where they can easily come up with thousands of dollars to take the bar exam. People have kids. So I do think that's critical, and we should be taking a look at that.
Thank you. Trustee Tony?
When it comes to these guiding principles, I would like us to consider something that includes, we need to learn the lessons from the February bar exam before we can come up with a remedy and a plan to move online. I think the future of the bar exam should be online. I have clarity that the mistakes that were made should not mean that we should forever be stuck in a 20th century in-person exam. I also think that I want us to move with caution, and I want us to move with understanding what went wrong and how to make sure we don't repeat the mistakes and learn from. My understanding is that many professions have remote exams. and that and have been doing it successfully for a decade or more. I also want to learn from them, how they do it. So you know, none of what I'm saying is meant as an impediment, but I just want to say I would like to include something like that. I'll make 3 points now. That's point number 1. Point number 2 is when I was looking at the earlier resolution, I'd like to break that into 2 resolutions. The first resolution would be that the state bar adopts these guiding principles. We've never adopted these guiding principles. I never believe in asking another body or anyone else to adopt something that I haven't adopted myself. And I think that if we want the committee of board, the board examiners to adopt it, it should be after we adopt it ourselves, which means that then the motion for them is we ask the committee of board examiners to join the board of trustees in adopting these after we have done so ourselves. I don't like to tell other people what to do. I like to invite people to do what I do.
Trustee Harrison.
Yes, there's one other thing I forgot to mention. Other professions offer licensure exams several times a year, more than 2 times. And that's what we're doing right now. You know, what if we were put in a position where we can offer an exam more than 2 times a year? I think that could also, in a remote environment, right? That can also save the bar money and defray some of these anxieties and financial pressures that applicants have when seeking to achieve licensure. And so we should also consider that as a possibility in the future as well.
And we have talked about the idea that and have built it somewhat into accessibility, affordability, this notion that with the flexibility of developing a California-specific exam, that that gives us opportunities like delivering the exam more times a year in very different ways potentially. And so that is something that's encompassed within sort of one of the key reasons why California would develop its own exam as opposed to going with the NCBE's next gen. Are you suggesting that we should see that as a guiding principle, that one of the guiding principles might be something like delivering an exam or developing an exam that can be delivered on a more frequent basis?
Unambiguously, yes. I would like that to be a guiding principle. It's my understanding that if we go with the NCBE, we are beholden, or in other words, handcuffed by the NCBE, and have to essentially only offer the exam twice a year and abide by what their decrees are in the product that they offer. And that is not something that I'm comfortable with.
Trustee Barahona.
Yeah, I just have one quick question for Donna before jumping into sort of my thoughts. And can you remind me, Donna, of the pass rate for this most recent February exam?
Yeah, for this most recent exam, February 2025, the pass rate on the general bar exam was 55.9% or so. And then for the attorney's exam, the one-day attorney's exam, it was 76%, I believe. Those numbers will be adjusted slightly. We've talked about some of the adjustments that we've made where we've identified a handful of more passers. So those percentages will be adjusted. But for this exam, it was uncharacteristically high for a February exam. at just about 56% for the general bar exam.
Got it. Thank you.
I just sorry to interrupt Trustee Barahona, but I think it's so important that not only was the overall pass rate higher, which I think one would expect because the Supreme Court set a lower raw passing score, but racial disparities in bar passage were at their lowest level that we have seen. So it means that everybody improved, but some groups improved more than others. So that gap in performance was the lowest level that we have seen. And I think that is something really important to highlight about this February exam.
Thank you. Yeah. And the reason I ask that is because I think our guiding principles are that, caution cannot trump innovation. We really do need to consider building on that part of the success in balance that with the really deep challenges that we heard from test takers. So I think that that's just really important for us to consider. I think the next thing is that there has to be a parallel process to our approach. We may need to think about in-person testing, but we have to provide a remote option as well. And that might be happening in a parallel sort of function. So I think that that's an important kind of opportunity to think about over 5 years, what would it look like if we provided both options to test takers? And where would we see growth and where would we see shifts and change? And how can we manage that financially so that we can both meet the test takers' needs, but also think about the ways in which we're financially positioning ourselves.
Perhaps you can help me word this parallel options
Yes,
principle.
yeah. I just have parallel process on my notes here, but there has to be a way in which we are doing both at the same time, that we are providing, and Trustee Harrison just said this as well, is like, how about if we could provide this more than 2 times a year? That would be really fascinating, but we may have to do both. And I think we miss a really big portion of test takers that were successful, like we just saw in February, if we don't provide a remote option in addition to in-person opportunities. And I think that's something that needs to be considered. The other thing is that we need, I think, real key transparency on the partners that we're bringing to the table more openly. So I think that if we are going to, that the CBE considers a lot of folks, but we need to include our law schools. We need to include other sort of partners. This has to feel like, test takers knew all the people that were involved and all the partners that provided voice to the decisions that were made. And that should be really explicit and apparent. I should know if I was a test taker that that the voices of the deans of these law schools were considered, that alongside other facets are really key partners. And I think that should be clear. And the last thing I'll say here is that we should consider not doing business as usual. This is an opportunity to perhaps think about, could we have a joint meeting with CBE? Could we have a joint meeting with the Supreme Court partners? We should be having a conversation that's open and wide and is not so siloed. If we're going to innovate and solve this, we need all of those voices at the table. And I think that, having a different process to this approach might actually open up other opportunities and lines of communication in a different way. I think we obviously have had these partnerships, but I think doing some sort of a joint meeting would be really helpful and I think instructive for those listening in. So I will pause there. Thank you.
Yes, Trustee Hughes, or then I have to go back to Trustee Harrison.
I just want to amplify, first of all, I think these are all terrific and agree with everything people have said, but I want to amplify that last point that Trustee Barahona has made. I think it's one of the breakdowns that I see here is that there wasn't full coordination between the CBE, the State Bar, the Supreme Court liaisons, all of this. I'll just give an example where all of us were shocked about the use of AI, hadn't heard about it. These things are going to happen. We can learn from them. But having that joint meeting or that joint collaboration that Trustee Barahona has just suggested, I think could solve a lot of issues and I think would go a long way.
I second that on having joint meetings because I want to have a role in designing this new bar exam. Also, I just want to speak to an assumption that people might have with remote testing that I suspect they might believe, oh, well, there's just the one, camera on your laptop or desktop that's used to determine whether or not you may or may not be cheating. California, again, like Leah said, is a leader in innovation. Like, I mean, I can imagine a software update. Instead of one camera, you can have two. You can go buy, another camera with a long cord, put it behind you somewhere up on a shelf or on a wall that captures you from the backside. So that way you don't have to be interrupted while taking the exam by a proctor saying, show me your room, and that way it could eliminate distractions while taking that exam remotely.
So one thing that that I note here, looking at these guiding principles, the board, if the board adopts these principles, the board has essentially staked out their opinion, which is that there needs to be a California specific exam, and we should not be considering the NCBE's next gen. And I say that because the guiding principles talk to being able to deliver both remote and in-person options. They talk to being able to deliver the exam more frequently. Those are not things that can be done if we veer from the current path and no longer are no longer moving to create a California specific exam. And just because I know that we sort of have this ongoing conversation of we need to make sure that we understand who's responsible for which decision making, I just wanted to sort of make that observation that the board is very clearly staking out a position here with these guiding principles, and I just wanted to make sure that was clear to everyone as you ultimately decide to vote on these.
Yes, trustee, well, actually
Linda,
trustee
go
Sewell.
to trustee Hughes, because something
I
that she
just
said.
wanted to comment on just that one
Sure.
point. I think that's the point about challenging, and I think trustee Barahona made a perfect example. You don't have to decide one or the other. You can decide both. And so if the MDBE doesn't do that currently, one thing California, a very influential participant, could say is, we want you to move that direction. So I just want to challenge, let's not say the status quo is what we're stuck with.
Thank you.
Over the last couple of days, I just want to acknowledge all the comments that I've heard relative to this. And I don't know if this is both a comment and probably somewhat of a question. And I think it's embedded in something that trustee Hughes just sort of said and trustee Barahona was just talking about. I think we've learned through this process that the state bar doesn't have complete control over the bar exam. And there are other sort of entities that are involved with this. And I do believe that the principles that we're articulating here are an action in and of themselves. But I think the thing that I'm looking for here is also an action on the part of this, on the part of this board relative to what it is that we do control and how it is that we can begin to move that forward in some sort of targeted and scheduled sort of way. I feel like we know what's happening for July. We know but we don't necessarily know. Yes, there's lessons that we have to learn. Yes, we have to sort of figure out and address other sorts of issues that may crop up. But I feel like I don't want to wait for all that to get resolved before it is that we begin to move down a particular path. And for me, that seems to be what can we disaggregate from all the different sort of things that we know about what we control and what can we move on. And I think part of that is a comment, and part of that is just sort of also a question to the staff and to the board in terms of you know, are there things that we can be doing around the questions? Are there things that we, I mean, the technology seems to be the piece that's the most, that's the most sort of out of our control. But the other pieces are pieces that I'm just sort of wondering, how do we begin to sort of push on that so we don't stagnate?
Great question, Trustee Sowell. The Committee of Bar Examiners has made very clear the importance of their involvement in looking at exam delivery vendors, whether it is remote or in person. They will be creating at their May 30th meeting, or the chair will be asking the committee to create a subcommittee on exam development and a subcommittee on exam administration. They are asking staff to bring vendors to starting with the June 20th CBE meeting to roll out, have a couple of vendors do presentations about what they can provide, how they can provide it, to subject them to the questioning of the Committee of Bar Examiners. So as I'm sort of hearing from several of you, right, one of the things that I think Trustee Barahona talked about was, you know, maybe we have some greater partnership, visible partnership between the board and the CBE with some joint meetings, and maybe the board is involved in observations of some of these vendor presentations. So the board can engage, you know, as well on these issues. But I know the Committee of Bar Examiners intends to be very involved in ensuring that decisions that are made on vendors for in-person platforms as well as remote platforms are fully vetted, that we understand what load that they can carry, that we ensure on that there is specific and appropriate testing to make sure that the load of California bar exam is not going to cripple the system. So those are things that the committee is thinking about. And so I think what I'm hearing is maybe figuring out a way to partner the board and the committee on some of these issues.
I think that's a great idea. And I also, just going back to your comments, Trustee Sowell, I think there is this, as I use the word, it's ambiguous, it's unclear, what exactly, where the role delineation. That being said, you do play a powerful role. I think you mentioned it, Trustee Harrison, in that you bind the state bar contractually. And you have that ability to do it, and you can also choose not to do it. So that does, in effect, give the board quite a bit of power. It hasn't necessarily been exercised that way, but that is a reality. And so I do think in this spirit of having more partnership, joint meetings, or asking the Committee of Bar Examiners to affirm and also adopt the board's guiding principles, that's perfectly appropriate because it signals this is a partnership, even with this current kind of lack of clarity about who's on first for specific decisions. I just want to offer something concrete. I'm leaving, and so I feel kind of comfortable at doing this. If the organization writ large, the Committee of Bar Examiners, the board, you know, if there's agreement with the general notion that a separation from the national conference is in the best interest of the bar and test takers, for all the reasons that we've talked about, including accessibility and the ability to control your own exam, its contents and how it's delivered, then I would suggest, and thinking about some of these things here, going remote in 2026 is probably not advised. However, choosing to continue to invest in and work with Kaplan, a partner who we have a binding contract with, to perfect the questions that are going to be used on that exam, those exams in 2026, that is viable. And so I just say that to say you can think about structuring an approach per your guiding principles, sequencing an approach, and thinking about content administration. They're not, they don't need to go lockstep together. And one of the mistakes we made is trying to do both at the same time. So what could be phased and sequenced? And that, I think, ultimately is the kind of tactical decision somebody's going to need to make. As just a reminder, we open registration for the February bar exam in October. Got to know what we're doing. Is the test remote? Is it in person? And what's being tested? So it feels far away, but it's not. So I just throw that out there as one way to kind of look at these moving parts.
Leah, your suggestion, though, would be something that we have to do in concert with the CBE.
Yeah, and obviously it needs to be somehow a recommendation, a petition to the Supreme Court, right? Because ultimately they issue the orders for each administration of the bar exam. So I don't think either the CBE or the board can make a unilateral decision, but I do think given this sort of lack of clarity that we're operating in now, a joint statement, commitment, policy approach by both of these bodies would be very constructive if you guys can get there.
And I think that is also sort of coming up with this joint structure, the joint commitment, is how we will get clear direction from the Supreme Court by identifying these are the guiding principles that the board and the Committee of Bar Examiners, right, assuming you adopt it, assuming they adopt it, are committing to moving forward. This is what that might look like, and talk about the structure that Leah just did. Then we can get a direct response from the Supreme Court on a clear direction that that the board and the committee would be laying out.
Yes.
Yes, I just wanted to reiterate the words of our executive director and state unambiguously that I think we should move with haste with formalizing our intent to sever relationships with the NCBE and really delving into our relationship with Kaplan to bring about a new bar exam that captures and effectuates all of our guiding principles. And we should do this as soon as possible.
So just to be clear, right, there are two separate exam development activities. One is what we've been doing right now with Kaplan, with developing the multiple choice questions, so that for the next 5 years, the state bar would be separated from the National Conference of Bar Examiners and would be able to deliver its own exams in the way that it chooses to. The new exam is a separate endeavor, and we have not contracted with any vendor for that at this time. So I just want to be crystal clear about that.
Yeah, I understand that, but it's my hope that Kaplan could be on board with, or, I have an affinity toward Kaplan because I've had good experiences with Kaplan, but, we should see if they could be on board with helping effectuate, what this new bar exam is going to look like. And that should be part of joint meetings with the BOT and the CBE and carried forward with the CBE in a more intricate basis. But we need to get moving on this because the Supreme Court has already said we need a new bar exam. We've got timelines that we need to adhere to. And so that's just my opinion.
Trustee Tony.
I want to separate the conversation of what to do with Kaplan from this conversation because I am unsatisfied with their performance for the February bar exam. I am unsatisfied with the fact we had a contract for 200 questions and we got 116 usable questions. That's not acceptable, period. And until that is resolved, I'm certainly, I think it was a mistake to commit to Kaplan. We need to resolve that. They are supposed to give us 200 questions. That means 200 usable questions, not just 200 whatever questions. That makes no sense at all. I've never heard of a contract that allows someone to just deliver materials that are not acceptable, that do not pass muster. that is unacceptable. So that's why I want that to be a separate conversation. We can do it later today, we can do it the next meeting, but I think it's a mistake to make a commitment to Kaplan today under the current performance they provided in February.
I know our general counsel would probably weigh in and say that, you know, we are not in a position to make that sort of decision. You know, if we're to follow out your, you know, your logical line of reasoning regarding our relationship with Kaplan, that's not on the agenda today. What we do have is, you know, an enforceable contract with Kaplan, and that we need to perform just as they have performed. I understand that, you know, your opinion about the quality of the performance, and I think that's certainly something that we're going to continue to refine as far as us going back to validation panels, ensuring that we have best practices and how the content is validated and how we essentially receive that work product and then ensure its reliability. So I don't think, though, making to your logical end, you know, making that decision today is in the best interest of the organization. I think opens us up to other issues.
Right. I said we shouldn't make it today.
Okay. Well,
And I do just want to say out loud that I absolutely want to engage in this conversation, but I don't want to. I don't think it's fair to leave a statement out there that suggests that if Kaplan were to have done what the contract required, we would not have had to use any other questions on the exam. I have clearly done a bad job in explaining what the contract required, what the expectation was, where we fell down in terms of our responsibility you know, content validation is an iterative process. And if we identified questions that needed to be revised, we set those back to Kaplan. If we identified questions that we thought were not sufficient for a minimally competent applicant, our obligation was to send them back to Kaplan and continue this iterative process. And there were problems in the process that I don't think are attributable to Kaplan in terms of what questions they took another look at and sent back to us or not. So I'm going to sort of take responsibility for not explaining the expectations under the contract well. And maybe this is something that we can agendize for a future meeting, so I can walk the board through why we do believe that Kaplan did meet the obligations of the contract.
Trustee Huser.
I agree with some of the sentiments that Trustee Tony has articulated, but I think most importantly, we do not need to decide today what to do about Kaplan or not Kaplan or whatever. We have agreed that we're going to have an independent investigation. We were asked to delay that until after the July bar exam so that we could understand what happened, but yet leave staff with enough time to get everything ready for July. I'd like to hear from that independent investigator before I make any decisions. But I do echo the sentiments that I do not think that Kaplan's results here were what at least I expected. But luckily, there's no need for us to make any decisions about that, I think, until after we've had those results.
Again, I just do want to clarify the time frame. So, and a few facts. So we have a contract with Kaplan that we will be paying on regardless of whether we use their questions or not. And they are delivering, you know, they've delivered questions for the July exam. They will continue to deliver questions for July 2026. So that's one sort of fact. That contract, as I think you're pointing out, Trustee Harrison, keep talking about the new bar exam. The contract we have is not for the new bar exam of the future. It is for kind of replication of MBE type questions. I don't want to get in trouble with how I'm saying it, but doing something very similar to what we've always done to not trigger the 2-year notice requirement, but allow us to test differently. So that's a contract that's in place. In terms of waiting for anything to conclude before decisions are made. The challenge with that is, again, I'm a broken record, but the registration for February opens in October. If we're going to test in person, certainly if we were going to test remotely, we'd have to be working on that right now. This seems very infeasible. But that means a decision kind of does need to be made on the test administration side, I believe. On the test content side, right now, we've been directed to go back to the MBE for July 2025. There's nothing out there about 2026. So I think all I'm suggesting is the board working with the committee of bar examiners, again, repeating myself, come up with recommendations for both test administration, test content. And there is this reality of the timeframe within which those recommendations need to be generated so that you can open registration, secure space, all of that. And so I don't know much about the timeline of the investigations that are going to occur. I'm obviously not part of those discussions, but I'm not anticipating there may be challenges with the timeline of those investigations and these very real deadlines that we have. So I get the desire to wait and sequence things. I'm not sure it's going to be entirely possible. So with that being said, I think you've done a lot here with these guiding principles, and maybe we've done as much as we can do, and we send it over to the committee and see where they land at their June meeting, and that's what we can do today.
I would like the next after next bar exam to be delivered remotely, but I'm really concerned about the platform, whether or not there's going to be issues similar to the issues that we're seeing now with the February 2025 test takers. And I think that in order to assuage my significant concern is we're going to have to, or the CVE is going to have to talk to the vendors and see who can really deliver on their promise with providing a remote testing platform that's not going to have the significant disruptions that measured learning allowed to occur.
I see your hand.
I mean, Leah, you said it twice now, and I guess maybe it's just now sinking in for me, but are you suggesting that one of the other things that we should be thinking about doing right now at this particular board meeting is making the decision on what we should be doing for February of 2026?
Well, not right now at this board meeting. And one, of course, you don't have the ability to make that decision. So recognizing all of the weirdness, in the coming months, with not that many months in that encapsulated there, that decision has to be made. And I think that ultimately the State Bar will receive and needs direction from the Supreme Court. But that process will be greatly benefited by this board and the CBE coming up with a recommendation. Okay. That's what I believe. Okay. And there are two components: test content, test administration. They can have their own recommendations, and so hopefully that's clear. So I'm not a decision for today, but I just worry a little when I hear wait for investigations to conclude before deciding anything. I don't know if that will work.
Chair, if I could offer
Yes.
a couple of clarification points as well. The court's order, October order, allows the State Bar to use 200 multiple choice questions, and it has the flexibility to test in person, test centers, and remote. So at least that framework still exists and hasn't changed yet. The most recent order applies only, as Leah mentioned, to the July 2025 bar exam that requires the use of MBE. So there is some flexibility there for these discussions to continue. I also wanted to go back to the comment that Donna made earlier, and particularly the bullet point about must be able to deliver both remote and in-person options. And so that kind of goes into like the roles and where we're headed, and maybe we need some more information before making the decision. Perhaps the way to address that is to say, consider these options as part of the principle and not commit to both options. That gives flexibility for the board and CBE in like weighing into the various options to come up with that kind of a recommendation. And there's certainly opportunity later in the meeting to discuss some of the other issues that came up around timing of the investigations and everything else.
Yes.
I'll defer to Trustee Grande.
I just want to make sure it doesn't get lost because I think I do see it on one of the guiding principles about not relying on business as usual, but I just really want to underscore how valuable I think if we took a collaborative approach with the CBE and the Supreme Court, because I think one of the things that we consistently have heard in public comment is the delays, right? And I just really want to underscore how I think critical that will be to address any issues as we look at what potentially innovative solutions we could come up with. It's critical that we have those conversations together as much as possible.
Yes.
So what if we do this, right? What if we say in 2026, we're going to offer a remote testing option. We're going to find a vendor that can deliver that without incident or significant incident, because I'm sure there's might be a small, very, very small level of technical issues that a few test takers might have, right? But generally speaking, what we saw recently was absolutely terrible, right? So back to my point. What if we say we intend to offer a remote option? We're going to find a vendor that can deliver, but there needs to be some sort of experimental session. And if issues arise that create concern, we're going to do in-person testing.
So to piggyback on that, because I've been jotting down some notes here and things that I guess that I haven't heard that I'd like to see integrated into this is how do we ensure quality and control in these innovative processes? And we have, regarding the February exam, I think there's been a lot of criticism and accusations that we used the February test takers as guinea pigs in the rollout. And what I would like us to look at is ways to partner with law schools to essentially kind of be that, not a guinea pig, but just really have these practice tests, because it serves two purposes. One, it allows us to see if we're going down the right direction as far as the intersection of technology and testing, remote testing especially, but also two, it gives test takers real life experience in exam conditions and allows them not just to practice, but to practice perfectly. We've heard practice makes perfect. No, perfect practice makes perfect. And I think for too long, there's been a disconnect between the way the state bar tests minimum competency and what law schools teach as far as what they think minimum competency is. And I think this is a perfect opportunity for us to address that, that disconnect with law schools. I don't know how many times I've heard people say, you know what, I learned more about the law during bar prep courses than I did in my 3 years of law school. And I think that it's incumbent upon us to be a leader in that field to make sure that we bridge that divide, that we, not only from a content standpoint, the way the content is tested, but also the conditions in which it's tested on. I don't know what law schools do, if there's best practices regarding the way their exams are administered. But I know that with my law school, we took a lot of our exams using ExamSoft. We got used to it at a very, very early stage. And so it was not a shock to us when we got to the baby bar, on how to use a platform. And I think that there's just more that we can do in that law school space. Two, I don't think it's a accident that we're seeing higher raw testing scores from the February 2025 examinees. I think one thing that really aids, I think one thing that really helped, and that was having that November practice session. I think it allowed for these test takers to sit, in exam conditions, get used to that stress. And I think we saw that a better work product from them because they were used to that. I'm not saying that we should expand the baby bar to all individuals, but maybe we offer something to, to third-year students, basically an opportunity to sit for kind of like a baby bar, kind of a very reduced version of what the bar is, to give them, that experiential, to teach them those experiential lessons. I thought it was interesting when Leah talked about how we've transformed ourselves from a gotcha type organization in the area of attorney discipline, that we could perhaps incorporate some of those other lessons in the way that we test minimum competency. And I think having this overall holistic approach where we engage the law schools, where you go to a law school and you spend however many hundreds of thousands of dollars on an education, you should, as a student, expect to be able to pass a minimum competency exam. And I think that we can lead in that space. So I don't know, as a guiding principle, I would love to see us do more experiential exams. We get the benefit from a validation standpoint, I think, of ways to test, things to test on, and then test takers, I think, get that experiential bump as well as they go forward to the next, to the actual big bar exam.
And so I've reworked the improve with stakeholders bullet, improve work with stakeholders bullet to divide it up. And I sort of the two things that we had already talked about, greater transparency to ensure their perspectives are sought out and considered. And then Trustee Stallings, I added I think I captured what you were saying, partner with law schools to test exam administration platforms and approaches.
Yes.
Wouldn't that also include what we've been talking about, that the CBE and the state, Supreme Court liaison, shouldn't that also be a bullet there? I mean, I love the idea of partnering with law firms on, getting their ideas as a key platform, but I think we heard a lot of dialogue and a lot of support for also partnering with the other, state bar stakeholders. And I'd like to have that be in there somewhere.
Sorry, Trustee Barahona, let me go to you first and then.
Thank you. I think I'm amenable to editing that must be able to deliver both remote and in-person options based on what Leah mentioned, but also what Aileen mentioned. I think we can say consider, and I think that if there's a world where we're, again, the parallel process is that we're providing perhaps in-person testing, but we're refining the remote option to all the points that have been made. I think that's doable. I think ultimately in the future, we need to be able to have multiple options, but I think that's where I was going. So I just wanted to say that. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention was that, this has to guide the obviously the recommendations to CBE, but we then cannot, I think we have to think about our financial modeling because what we're going to see is if we take some time to be innovative, we may be in a deficit position for a longer period of time. And there are ways to do that, I think, and to live and to get back to a place where we need to be, but that can't be the first consideration. I think it is a consideration to be in a healthy financial position, obviously, but we may just need to figure that out and not let that be the sole driver of how we move forward.
Yes.
So there's a poignant moment at the Senate Judiciary Committee hearing that occurred a couple of weeks ago, where Senator Angelique Ashby actually called me out and said, we need a new bar exam. We need to figure this out. We can do it. And she said, someone like Ryan Harrison can help bring this about. And that gave me the impression that, and I saw senators on that dais nodding their head, and it gave me the impression that the legislature is willing to do what it can to help us effectuate this mission of creating a new bar exam. And that segues into the fact that if this is what they want and if this is what they're asking for, then we need them to become better partners and provide us with the resources we need so we can accomplish this. And so I think there's a relationship that we could leverage to help us achieve this goal with the resources that we need.
So I think, as far as a bullet point goes, perhaps, explore legislative priorities that strengthen the relationship between, or, achieve the objectives of the legislature with, the direction of the Supreme Court, how they more collaborative process. So perhaps that goes under the work with stakeholders.
You can help me finish that sentence.
To explore funding options.
I like the concept. I wouldn't put it in the general principles.
I mean, me personally, I think that, a lot of these issues come back to resources and, scarcity of either time or resources. So I think it's pretty guiding for me.
I agree we need resources, but I don't think this document is the place to talk about the strategies to get the resources. There are multiple strategies, including some that have not come up today, and I'm not sure that this is a good time to open up a new topic of discussion on what are the various ways and what are the various scenarios, because I think there are multiple ones. That's all I'm saying. I agree with you completely.
Certainly, the legislature is an important stakeholder in this, so maybe if we wanted to sort of take both perspectives into account, we could revise the bullet to talk about the importance of the legislative partners in this effort without the tail on just exploring funding options.
I do think Trustee Tony is correct. There are multiple ways to fund what we do, including through self-funding, depending on the decisions that are made. Self-funding meaning through the fees that licensee applicants pay. I do want to say initially when we went down this path, I had hoped, some folks internally know, that we would be able to reduce the fee because we were delivering the exam cheaper. And that would be a wonderful goal to be able to realize. So I think out the gate, you don't have to come from a place saying we necessarily are going to have to seek more money.
Yeah.
If you do, then there's multiple ways to try to get there.
Maybe when we're looking at remote testing vendors, we can have something built into the contract that says if they screw up on the platform in some type of experimental session, then they're going to have to fund the remote sites or sites for in-person testing because we can't move forward with their product.
Sounds like a tough contract to
Yeah.
negotiate. But
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
and that piggybacks off of, the promises and representations that Measure Learning gave that made us feel comfortable with moving forward with them in a real life situation that blew up in our face. So I think that it's reasonable given the historical circumstance.
All right, we'll put you on the contracts committee.
All right.
I think this is really good work product. I do want to be mindful of staff's desire to continue to, appreciate the very real deadlines, and then, many board members desire to hear the, hear the results of the investigation, the upcoming audit, in order to help guide that. But I think time is absolutely of the essence, and if we delay these decisions, then we're going to find ourselves back in the same position we were in last year, where we're working on a shortened time schedule. I think one of the things that the board can continue to work on, and, just point to the finance committee, you guys have done an exceptional job in, the stewardship of our resources. But, ensuring that, when we have a chief of admissions, that we have an individual who can dedicate the necessary amount of time, shoring up the office of admissions to the best extent possible, given our, 15% vacancy rate mandate. Those are very real issues I think the board can grapple with, and that we can continue to work to improve. I think what I'm hearing is that, we need to collaborate with all these different outside stakeholders, but it really comes down to staff that have that, that are actually going to make it so, kind of like, what I said about Louisa. We need a Louisa and a Donna, all rolled into one, and Donna is doing an exceptional job. Donna also is doing legislative priority, or the legislative relations, which in and of itself is a massive thing to take on. And so I think as a board, we just need to continue to innovate in ways to get more staff and more resources. Because ultimately, staff's going to be the one to drive the relationship building that we're going to continue to work towards for CBE with the legislature, with the Supreme Court. Staff's going to be, be the individual who's going to put pen to paper, who's going to get these petitions out. Office of General Counsel has worked exceptionally hard on all of these changing dynamics and getting this in front of the Supreme Court. And so we need to look at this holistically to make sure that we, as an organization, are healthy enough to take on innovative directions that are going to continue to stretch, to continue to strengthen our staff and make them, innovative, and empower them to be innovative in their own right. I think there needs to be a point person or 2 point people, whether or not it's administrative or admission liaisons, or a different set of liaisons to really work closely with staff on these issues. We can continue to set special meetings. We can continue to do that, but I think we just need more kind of boots on the ground, assisting staff and making those decisions. I think that was definitely a disconnect, and one of the lessons that we learned was things were happening so quick in real time that senior level staff, executive staff, and the board were not properly engaged. So from a process standpoint, I think that needs to be a guiding principle that we, as a board, look inward and see what we could do differently. So what I'm hearing from a timing standpoint is CBE's meeting in June. We need to be able to have, I think, a clear plan of attack in October, or for October.
I think so, yeah.
And the earliest, I guess, from staff standpoint, from rollout standpoint, when do we need to have these decisions made by?
I can't answer that. I'm kind of thinking, I don't want to disrupt where you're going, but I think we've done a lot here, and I think it's appropriate at this time to pass the resolution and move it to the committee of bar examiners. I think between now and that meeting, Donna and her team can get pretty detailed on timelines. Hopefully we can receive a little bit more guidance from the court. I think you could have some leadership meetings with the committee of bar examiners and try to do some coordination that way. And we can try to ensure a board liaison is able to attend that June CBE meeting. So those would be my suggestions. But I think we've taken this conversation maybe as far as it can go today. That's my view.
All right, so
I think Donna had
Yeah.
the resolutions. Maybe
Yeah.
advised. Were you able? Yeah, with Mark Tony's suggestion.
all right, so here's the resolution. It's up on screen.
Let me actually spell Board of Trustees correctly.
I want to make one clarification. When you go back to the principles, I just want to make it clear that my intent on, goodness, it's gotten small.
I have to go and look at it.
I can break it into 2 slides so you can, so I can expand it if you'd prefer.
Maybe that'll work. So that the part where we're talking about, we all agree that we. I think it's fine.
I have one.
It just was hard.
Yeah, I have one edit. I don't think I would have it say so definitively
Yeah.
develop an exam that can be delivered on a more frequent basis than 2 times a year. I'm fine with saying considering options for exams that might be delivered more than 2 times per year, but you know, I don't think there was any consensus of we must develop something given.
All right.
And nor do I think we have that general remit as a board.
I just want to make sure that people don't look at this and say, oh, the Board of Trustees wants this means that the Board of Trustees wants February 2026 to be online definitively. I'm like, it should be in the future. I'm open to negotiation of when. I just, as long as nobody thinks that this is telling the CBE that it has to be done immediately, I'm fine with all this. I don't think it says that. I just want to be clear about my intent on it. I am committed to a future online, but I'm not committed to a date specific.
Yeah, so I think that language that says consider both is good language, and I
Good.
would recommend adding that to the consider developing an exam that can be given more than twice a year.
Yeah, I want to piggyback on that. I would love to definitively say we want a remote option in 2026, but I am so concerned based off of the fiasco with Measure Learning that we need to put ourselves in a position to pivot if we have to. Regarding offering the exam more than twice a year, I really want that to be as close to a mandate as possible, because there are applicants who don't have a lot of money, who have an offer, a life-changing offer at a firm that's going to be something that they look forward to. And if they fail the exam, they could be out of a job. They could be homeless, and instead of that firm saying, okay, you have 1 second chance 6 months from now, otherwise you're done, or terminating you on the spot, there's more opportunities in between to go ahead and satisfy that requirement. And that's at the forefront of my thought when it comes to offering the exam more than twice a year, is those people who have invested heavily in a legal education, student loans, and they've done well academically. They've got that opportunity at the big pie in the sky firm because they earned it, with a life-changing income, and having it fall through without chances to preserve that opportunity if they don't pass the bar exam the first time.
Yeah, I think we all, really want to capture, being able to, to provide those opportunities. I think changing it from 2 times a year to more than that is going to require a significant amount of study, especially this timelines and grading. Like, if this February exam has taught us anything, it's just the intricacies involved, and in an exam being psychometrically valid, and just everything that goes into it. So I think it's a great guiding principle, and I think it's something that we absolutely need to work towards. But it would be kind of a sea change, I think, to an even greater extent potentially than what we did in February. So I think the way I read this, I think it's a clear enough guiding principle to where that's what we're going to work towards.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just say, I think that this is aspirational as here. And I think it really does capture, I think, the discussion that we've had over the course of the last couple of days. And just in the interest of time, I'm ready to move it.
All right, perfect. Okay, first by Trustee Sewell,
Second?
second by Trustee Tony. I have a roll call vote.
Barahona,
Aye.
Buenaventura, not present. Cisneros.
Aye.
Good, not present. Gore, not present. Grande.
Aye.
Harrison.
Aye.
Huser. Sewell.
Aye.
Stevens, not present. Tony.
Aye.
Trejo.
Aye.
Stallings.
Aye.
It's 9 ayes, 0 nays. Motion carries.
Can I ask
Correct.
just one clarifying question? There are two CBE meetings coming up, right? One on the 30th of May, correct? And another one in June. Can you just refresh my memory on what the difference is between these two meetings?
Yes, certainly. The May 30th meeting is to specifically to consider the recommendations that the board made at its May 9 meeting, asking the Committee of Bar Examiners or recommending that the Committee of Bar Examiners reconvene to consider, in light of the public comment that the board heard from the examinees, certain additional remedies, looking at whether second read should be calculated differently, if there should be an appeals process, a different appeals process for those who are near the pass line, if you should allow the partial retake in July.
I'm going to interrupt you real quick. So May 30th is take a relook at February.
Yeah.
And the June one is let's start talking things prospectively.
The June meeting is the CBE's regularly scheduled meeting. They'll have a full agenda of things, but yes, they will start looking at July and going forward. They will be talking to vendors and taking on a variety of other business items of business.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
If I could just say one more thing, Chair Stallings. In the spirit of, building a stronger partnership alignment between the Board of Trustees and CBE, I mean, we rely on the same state bar staff, as you pointed out, okay, as you pointed out. And we want to avoid the situation where staff hears one thing from CBE and another thing from the Board of Trustees. We should be singing the same tunes when it comes to, how to move forward. So insofar as you might have a conversation with the chair of CBE, I think that you should feel free to convey the thanks that the Board of Trustees has for their work and their service and everything that they're doing to improve and make future bar exams run well. And insofar as they are looking at committees, to look at some of the bar exams and stuff, I think you should feel free to explore, just to explore, because it's, of whether there's any interest in joint committees, okay? Where there's one or two trustees who might serve on a joint committee. It's just exploration, just, nobody's required to do anything, but, you do have some discretion to make appointments if that is the case. We already have heard from one trustee of their interest. And so anyway, just in terms of, I am interested in expediting whatever we do, okay? I really am. When I say learn lessons, it's not in a way to stop or slow things down. And it might be that something like a joint committee might actually help facilitate. So I'm just encouraging you in your capacity.
Yeah, and those conversations have already begun to take place.
I figured.
Especially at the board leadership level and staff leadership level. So we will continue to work with the Supreme Court on what makes the most sense. Absolutely. And had a conversation with CBE Chair Alex Chan last night, and
Excellent.
absolutely reiterated our thanks for all of these special meetings, all of their commissioners setting aside time to devote to all these issues. So just and publicly want to extend our thanks to all the volunteers who give of their time. Okay, great discussion. Love the work product. We're going to try and get through the rest of our agenda in an expeditious manner. Donna, thank you so much to you and your team. All of admission staff. I know you guys have been working around the clock to get this stuff done. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Item 7.2 is discussion regarding the 2024 California Justice Gap Study and state level approaches to expanding legal services. And this is being presented by program directors Lisa Chavez and Elizabeth Hom.
Chair, they're going to be promoted. I'm going to briefly kick us off if
Perfect.
that's okay.
Let's do it.
While they are promoted, as well as Jennifer Zelnick, also from the Office of Access and Inclusion.
Can we have a brief bio break?
Yeah.
5 minutes. We'll do 5 minutes. Let's make it a real 5.
All right.
Tight 5, I think.
Thanks, Elizabeth. One moment.
No worries. I have cups over here.
We ready to? Okay.
Yes.
All right, we are back in session, and we are now going to turn again to item 7.2, and we have our program directors, Ms. Chavez and Ms. Hom. Welcome.
Thanks.
It was great to see you guys later or yesterday. Sorry that you're having to appear remotely, but glad you can make it. And I'm sorry we're going to turn first to Ms. Doherty.
Great. Thank you, Chair Stallings. So I'm going to very quickly kick us off because as you can see on your screen, there are 3 presenters here and a lot of information for them to share. I just wanted to kind of remind everyone as to how we got to where we are today. So at the November 2024 board meeting, which was quite some time ago, that was the planning for the planning session, if you'll recall, as to what topics to bring back for the board's February planning session, that Donna led that discussion. It was determined that access to justice should be a topic to include at that February meeting. However, it was later determined that it would really make more sense to talk about this as part of looking at the updated 2024 Justice Gap Study, which you'll see today. That study is going to be released publicly next week, but Lisa is going to give us an overview of those findings. So this is a discussion-only item, and if there is a desire to take any action on any of the approaches related to alternative non-lawyer licensure, we would want to reconvene stakeholders. That was a big component of the conversation back in November, engaged in this space. But I wanted to, again, just talk about very quickly the Justice Gap Study kind of more broadly, and this being the second iteration of it by the State Bar. So in 2017, the Legal Services Corporation did a national study that looked at low-income Americans and the gap, the justice gap. That study was national and only looked at household incomes at or below the 125% federal poverty level. Conversely, the State Bar study has looked really focused on California and looked at all income levels. This was linked to the State Bar's 2017 to 2022 strategic plan with a goal to increase access to legal services for low and moderate income Californians. And what happened there is there were some recommendations and findings and then recommendations that came out of that study that Elizabeth's going to go over with you. And then Lisa will kind of key us into what's happened since those recommendations have been implemented and really where we are today, followed by Jennifer showing us how other states are exploring this justice crisis and more information on that. So with that, I'll hand it over to Elizabeth, and thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Doherty, and thank you, Chair Stallings and trustees for the opportunity to present today. My name is Elizabeth Hom, and I'm a program director in the Office of Access and Inclusion. As you know, I'm joined by my colleagues Lisa Chavez, program director in the Office of Research and Statistics, and Jennifer Zelnick, lead program analyst in Access and Inclusion. Next slide. Today, we will provide, as Erica mentioned, a high-level overview of the 2019 California Justice Gap Study, share our findings and recommendations from our forthcoming study, and then present state-level approaches, followed by what we hope to be a robust discussion. Next, and we can go to the next. As you all know, the State Bar published the first ever California Justice Gap Study in 2019, where we found both a services gap and a knowledge gap. More than half of Californians at all income levels experienced at least one civil legal problem within the last year. However, only a third of Californians sought legal help. And as you can see, the majority of people did not have enough adequate legal help, and the majority of problems went unresolved or only partially resolved. Related to the services gap, the 2019 study also included a study of legal aid recruitment and retention as a supply to meet the demand. We found that legal aid recruitment and retention remains an acute issue in the sector. So 1 in 2 law students who intend a career in the public interest drift from that. It's a term we call public interest drift, and this is due to financial pressure and debt load. So the study also found that participating in internships during law school was a strong indicator of whether a student would remain on a public interest career path. Next slide. So related to the knowledge gap, we found that a third of Californians were unsure whether their life problem had a legal solution. About a third decided to deal with their legal issues without any help. As you can see, there were concerns about cost, where to look for help, and there were some who were afraid to pursue legal action. Next. Coming out of the study, we did have recommendations that tried to address both the knowledge and services gap, including increasing the availability of legal information and tools to help diagnose legal problems, increasing legal services, and addressing areas of greatest need. We also wanted to modify legal aid grantee funding requirements with the goal towards efficiency and sustainability, and removing barriers to the recruitment and retention crisis in legal aid. Next. In response to the 2019 study, the Board of Trustees added 2 items to the 2017-2022 strategic plan related to the knowledge gap and legal aid recruitment and retention. And for the 2022-2027 plan, the board relied on the 2019 study to inform Goal 2, which is related to access and inclusion. So in the last 5 years since the study, there have been numerous actions taken to reduce both the knowledge and services gap. Activities that we targeted towards low-income Californians specifically included piloting 2 communications campaigns to address the knowledge gap, one focusing on Spanish language media, and one in partnership with the Access Commission that focused on social media to raise awareness about legal resources available to address medical issues. There was also advocacy for loan repayment assistance programs, as well as advocacy to direct funding specifically for paid law student fellowships at legal aid organizations, which I'll share a little bit more about in a few slides. There was also advocacy to amend the IOLTA statute to expand client eligibility from 125% of the federal poverty level to 200% of FPL, making services available to approximately 4.5 million more Californians. We also made changes to our grant making to allow for multi-year spend down of grants and to prioritize rural and other underserved communities through our discretionary grant making. Over the last couple of years, the State Bar has helped grantees learn about and use legal tech through pilots and product demos and other opportunities. And we conducted an assessment of our grantees' operational efficiencies last year, which led to launching a statewide initiative to strategically scale grantees' legal tech knowledge and capacity with the goal to improve service delivery. Next. Additionally, there were also actions taken to benefit both modest means Californians and Californians at all income levels. And this includes the board's commission of the Legal Market Landscape Report, which then led to the formation of the Task Force on Access through Innovation of Legal Services, the California Paraprofessional Working Group, and the Closing the Justice Gap Working Group. As you know, AB 2958 was passed in September 2022, which prohibited the State Bar from advocating for a paraprofessionals program and also limited exploration of a regulatory sandbox. This statute, however, has been sunset as of January 1st of this year. I also wanted to highlight some existing strategies that we have in California to increase the supply of attorneys. As I mentioned earlier, Legal Aid Leaders Fellowship Program, which came out of recommendations from our 2019 study, is a grant administered by the Legal Services Trust Fund Commission, which funds paid internships for law students during the summer at legal aid organizations. There was advocacy to direct $5 of the $45 opt-out voluntary contribution on the attorney licensing fee to direct these funds towards the fellowships. For some of our grantees, this was the first time they were able to pay their law students a living wage for their internships. And we also heard anecdotally that paying law students helped our rural legal aid programs become more competitive with the urban programs in recruiting law students. There's overwhelming demand for this program, and last year we were able to advocate for the set aside to increase from $5 to $10, which doubled the number of law students who can participate for this summer that is beginning shortly. Next, we have legal incubators, which are 12 to 18-month programs that cultivate private attorneys to provide affordable legal services. Participants receive office space, training, mentorship, access to software and other resources. And we have about 5 programs across the state and about 400 attorneys who've completed such programs. And last, there are lawyer referral services, which, as you know, the State Bar certifies. And these services connect the public with private attorneys. And lawyer referral services are also required by statute to support efforts to increase access to justice. And we currently have 37 lawyer referral services in the state with about 3,700 attorneys participating.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good morning, everyone. My name is Lisa Chavez, and I'm the Director of the Office of Research and Statistics. And I am absolutely delighted to share with you the results of the 2024 California Justice Gap Study. Before I get started, I just want to acknowledge the work of really an exceptional team of staff across my office and the Office of Access and Inclusion that came together to produce this work. I have the honor of serving as the project lead. I also want to thank leadership, especially Leo Wilson in this space, her just unwavering commitment to this topic is just inspiring to me as a researcher, as a leader, and I thank her for pushing us every step of the way. And I'm very, very proud of this piece of research that I'm going to share with you. So let's get started. I'm going to share with you about the study that was going to be published next week. I was going to do a little show and tell, and show you the report. But for now, I'll just skip over that in the interest of time and just focus here on the slides that I prepared. But this is the cover. This is a preview of the beautiful cover of our report. And the report content has three main sections. The first here on the left shows empirically the demand for civil legal help. And there's one big centerpiece is a study conducted by this survey results conducted by NORC. This is a similar approach that we took last time, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about that. And it's really based on the survey of over 6,000 Californians with regards to their civil legal needs. And then we also do a deep dive into the need for immigration legal services, the civil legal needs of criminal defendants, and the legal needs of small business owners. In the interest of time, I'm going to just focus on the results from the NORC survey. Then next we turn to understanding the supply of attorneys and legal services that are available across California to meet this demand. And here we have we'll be sharing an update of that landscape report that we commissioned, describes California's legal market. We've done an analysis of attorney deserts across the state. We've done an analysis of pro bono service in California. And we also are providing a really comprehensive overview of funding for legal aid organizations that has really never been kind of pulled together in a way that we have for this report. And then finally, we take us down into those strategies that Elizabeth described on the previous slide that currently exist. And we brought some really original empirical evidence to bear in that regard. But in the interest of time, Elizabeth and I are going to be focusing on discussing the NORC survey and then discussing just these four top pieces of the supply. And then the last part of the report is a set of policy recommendations that staff developed in collaboration with the Legal Services Trust Fund Commission. So that's the report overview content publishing next week, and looking forward to that. But for now, let's get started on giving you a preview. Oops. So again, think about the report, demand versus supply, and we are going to go deep into the demand statewide. And again, the centerpiece of this study is a survey that was conducted by NORC for California. This is NORC at the University of Chicago. And this mirrors the centerpiece that existed in 2019 study. And the 2019 study ultimately showed that the justice gap was very widespread, pervasive, and as Elizabeth said, there was gaps in knowledge and gaps in service. And so the purpose of this survey 5 years later was to assess what has changed since 2019. And the survey was really informed though by significant stakeholder feedback, and I'm going to share with you what that looks like. But like I said, it was administered to over 6,000 Californians, and that's an increase of who we surveyed last time around. And just as a reminder on how this survey works is respondents are presented with over 80 civil legal problems and asked, have you or anyone in your household experienced one of these problems in the last 12 months? If the answer is yes, then they're asked a series of questions with regards to those problems. And the last thing I'd like to share about, it's really important to keep in mind about this survey, is that we sample to ensure representation across all 4 income groups. In our 2019 study, as Erica mentioned, we really concentrated on comparing people who were at or below 125% poverty with those who were not. And that was the focus of NORC's report. However, we did ask them to do an analysis on the justice gap for all income groups, and it showed that it was spread throughout. So in other words, everyone above who were not poor, we broke them out into different groups, and we saw that there was a justice gap across all income groups, and that led us to make this survey really ensure that we sample across all these 4 income groups, and that all the results that NORC presents in its report are all disaggregated by these 4 income groups. So that's a real step forward in this research. And the last thing I want to say with regards to income is the lowest income group is the group that's in California is eligible for legal aid, that they are at or below 200% poverty level. And the respondents were categorized as that regardless of where they lived. Everyone else, their income was, people were assigned, or their households were assigned to an income group according to how their income aligned with the area median income of the county that they lived in. And again, the report has that methodology, more details, but it was really important for us to acknowledge that in the state of California, there's massive differences across the state with regards to, say, the role that housing plays in people's incomes and people's lives. And that's what that's trying to get at here, is understanding that, is trying to make sure that when we assign people to middle and high income, it's reflective of not only their true income, but where they live. Okay, let's get started. Okay, let me talk about our stakeholder engagement, because this is a really important component in ensuring that the NORC survey really reflected not only the needs of Californians, but also of the legal service providers who serve Californians. And so we conducted in summer 2023 a series of focus groups in partnership with the California Access to Justice Commission, with the representatives from different attorney groups, in particular with Consumer Attorneys of California, California Employment Lawyers Associations, and legal aid grantees. These are executive directors of the organizations that receive grant funds right now. And we also did a survey of solo and small attorneys, solo practitioners and attorneys who work in small law firms. And the goal is to solicit feedback on the 2019 Justice Gap study and to hear suggestions for the 2024 study. And in particular, we're very transparent, saying we're planning to reissue this survey again. And if they could, what would they ask? What would they ask Californians about their civil legal needs, their extent to which they're trying to get those needs met? And the result is that we were able to add questions to the NORC survey. Again, just pause for a second. The NORC survey that we used was a survey they had developed for the Legal Services Corporation. And so we took that survey and added questions in response to our stakeholders' feedback, and revised some questions, adding some new answer options. So in December so we did the survey in 2024. In December 2024, we shared preliminary results with a group of stakeholders, and we learned from them, when sharing, say, all the list of consumer problems, that personal injury was not on that list of 80 civil legal problems for which people were asked if they had experienced. And there's a whole background reason why that isn't there. Again, that's discussed in the methodology, but we thought it was really important that we adjust for that and course correct. And so we worked with NORC to reissue the survey in early 2025. And so they added personal injury to that list of problems. And they also added a few other questions, in particular about like compromised personal information and contracts. Okay, so let's get started on some results. So again, it was really important to us to understand to what extent anything has changed, if at all, since 2019. So what I'm going to present a series of slides where, wherever possible, we'll make those comparisons. So here on the left, this is just really zooming out. What percent of all California households said that they did experience at least one of those problems in the previous 12 months? And that, according to this survey, it looks as though the needs are actually growing. So back in 2019, it was a big headline that 55% of households said that they had at least one problem. 5 years later, that's increased to 73%. Here on the right is just a little slide that just, and again, like for every single problem, they ask, well, how much has this impacted you or your household? And what you should take away here is that the lowest income groups, they're the ones who are paying the biggest toll these problems have on their lives. Similar to what we found last time, you know, consumer problems and housing problems or healthcare problems are the top problems experienced by Californians. That's here on the left. Consumer is the top, followed by healthcare. I'm here to go deeper into those consumer and healthcare problems. What you should see here is that, and again, this is just really, we feel is just a key finding that we cannot emphasize enough, is that yes, we know that in most cases, low-income people have experienced greatest toll, but what you see here is that even middle-income people in California and high-income people in California are experiencing civil legal problems and they have needs. So, and in particular here in healthcare, you just don't see a lot of major variation. So that's a really key finding here, is that wherever we turn, well, even though you'll see a correlation in income, for the most part, it's not very wide. And again, here on the right, we have just details sort of like if you go deeper in the types of consumer problems, what are the top ones? And really that compromised personal information and contracts and personal injuries, they rise to the top. So those three new problems we added really bore fruit in this way, in that they are the most frequent problems. And then here for three healthcare problems, of health insurance not covering services is one of the top problems. Okay, so now we're going to turn to seeking legal help. So again, another area where it looks as though we're not trending in the right direction. 5 years ago, only 32% of people people sought help for, and now that seems to have decreased to 18%. Here at the bottom, we found that Californians seek legal assistance for only a small fraction. Only 1 in 10 of those consumer and healthcare problems, I just told you those are the most frequent problems. Well, they only seek help for 1 in 10 of those problems. And here on the right, this is just, again, like another area where we just don't see a lot of income variation. Here, I'm going to see here, these light bars are the seek legal help. You just don't see a lot of income variation. But except here down when you look at problems with substantial impact, you do see that lowest income Californians are less likely to do so than other groups, especially middle income groups. But overall, the majority of Californians, regardless of which income group they're part of, seek legal help for their problems. And so that remains concerning. So one of the critiques we received in 2019 was our definition of seek legal help. And the way it was defined was that if someone had spoken to a lawyer, a legal aid provider, a paralegal, or a legal helpline, they were all grouped in one. And we said seek legal help. Now we also are using that definition this time around, but this time we made sure that the way the survey question was set up, that we're going to be able to disaggregate which type of legal professionals people spoke with. And so therefore we can have statistics. What percent of problems Californians take to a lawyer? What percent of problems they take to a legal aid provider? We weren't able to do that before, and we were able to this thanks to our feedback from our stakeholders. And so what we've learned is that Californians seek help from a lawyer for only 1 in 3 in 10 problems. Lowest income people are the least likely to approach a lawyer for their problems. I'm just showing you also the results with regards to the legal aid provider. The lowest income Californians are less likely to speak to a legal aid provider, and those are the people who are eligible for legal aid in the state. So that is actually quite concerning as well. Another key question that we added to the NARC survey in response to our stakeholder feedback is they were very interested in understanding, well, when people go speak to lawyers, what do those lawyers tell them? And so the question was, so people who said that they spoke to a lawyer about the problem, the survey was next directed them to a question: what did that lawyer tell you about your problem, your civil legal problem? And there was a select all that apply option. Here are all the response options. And lawyers tell people that their case is valid and legal action is recommended. That's the most common response that people are receiving about their problems. But for 1 in 4 problems, they are offered contingency fee arrangements. That's this one right here. They would take my case and I didn't have to pay money up front. They would only get paid if I won. And then for 1 in 5 problems, they're told that their case is valid, but would not win enough money for case to be worthwhile for the lawyer to take. So again, this is just another area where we feel like we've learned a lot, again, based on our stakeholder feedback. Okay, now here's just the crux, right? So, okay, what about the justice gap? That's ultimately
Lisa, can you hear?
Go ahead. Okay.
Hi, sorry to interrupt. I'm just going to ask if you could move a little bit more quickly, just because I know
Sure, absolutely. Okay, so I'll just, okay, terrific. Okay, great. So this will be the last slide and then we'll move on. Okay, so the justice gap, the way it's measured is if you look at all the problems that people experience, like what % of them are not receiving any legal help at all, or they don't receive enough help. And so what was so uncanny is that that hasn't changed. So it's still the vast majority of problems are not being are experiencing a justice gap, meaning that there's not enough help. And here at the right, you just see that across the income distributions, this remains to be true, even though you might see some slight income variations. Okay, and then we just have some data on the knowledge barrier, the knowledge gaps, and also cost barriers. And we will, this again, all this is in the report. It's in your slide deck that we shared, and it's just telling the same story we learned last time. Is that there's really just a gap in understanding of whether the problems are legal or not, their confidence in seeking a lawyer, and lots of concerns of whether they can afford legal help.
I just to point, if you go back one slide, Lisa,
sure.
That question there about how much would you be willing to pay a lawyer? It's hidden by our closed captioning. But the willing to pay is $153 an hour. I think that is very interesting data, particularly as we're going to see the small proportion of lawyers in this state that are actually serving individual people, not organizational clients. It's very useful to know what that price threshold is. So go ahead.
Yes, and I just want to say that was another question that we added to the survey in response to stakeholder feedback. They really wanted to know like how much people would be willing to pay. Okay, so let's start talking about the supply of attorneys and legal services available to meet demand. So as you know, we had a legal landscape report that was commissioned. We went back to the same professor and asked him to update his study. And what he did was, whereas his previous study was really focused on the national market, this time he was really able to go deep in exploring California's $57 billion legal market. And what he found was that just similar to what's going on nationwide, California's legal market mostly serves organizations, whereas just 24% serves individual clients. That's called the people law sector, where you serve people with regard to their various problems that they have. But again, so this finding that you see here in California really is mirroring what's going on nationwide. He also has some interesting data. And again, the report will link to his report that there's been in California a 45% increase in the number of lawyers who are working as in-house lawyers. And again, when you're working as an in-house lawyer, you're serving an organization. And he has all these explanations about, why there's this, why this is the case. It's related to both supply and demand. So next, we also did an analysis of attorney deserts in California. There had been a study previously commissioned, and we looked to update that study. And this is the idea is that where in the state is there places where there just aren't enough attorneys to serve residents, and we used a definition by the American Bar Association. And before I get into that, I just want to share that one thing we thought about in doing this analysis is that we really needed to get a handle on just overall demographics in the state, or rather, when you think about a place and they have enough attorneys, and if something changes, it could be because the number of attorneys declined, the population changed, or things weren't in sync. And so it was really important to us to get a handle on that, how the number of attorneys changing in the state is, how is that changing relative to the population? So before we do that, though, one thing we did was to really have to start with, well, of all the 190,000 California active licensees, what % actually live in California? Because we always throw around that number. California has 193,000 active licensees, but really 13% live out of state and that's up from 11% in 2015. The number of active attorneys in California living in state only increased by 3%, but that fell short of the California population that has grown by 4% in the last 10 years. In contrast, the number of inactive attorneys living in state has increased by 59%. So right away, this should tell us is that the number of if we think in terms of people attorneys being available to serve people, right away, the number of active attorneys living in state is not keeping up with population growth. So what we did was we did that analysis for all 58 counties. And what we found was that 76% of counties in California have experienced a decline in the number of active attorneys. So in other words, that 3% that I just described, it's only confined to 20-some% of all the counties. So it's not widespread across the state, the growth that I just described, that modest growth. We also looked at population trends within each county as well. And when you take it together, 55% of counties in California are experiencing a decline in active attorneys, but they experienced an increase in their population. So that right there is going to lead to more attorney deserts, which I'll show. Another thing we're very concerned about is status of rural areas in California, and just 3% of California's active attorneys live in rural areas compared to 12% of California residents. That hasn't changed. But here to the right is another, just something unique for this piece that we compared to the last time we did this study, is that we looked at that mismatch for all counties. And there's some counties that have really, really extreme mismatches between where active attorneys live and where their residents live. So in Merced County, 71% of their residents live in rural areas, but only 17% of the active attorneys that live in Merced County live in those rural areas. And so the way this is sorted is from high to low for which county had the most mismatch. So ultimately, the definition of attorney desert is a county or a rural area within the county where there is less than one active attorney per 1,000 residents. We also did analysis. So when we do the calculation, it's less than one. We also did an analysis where we said, okay, well, which counties are at risk for becoming an attorney desert? And so that means that they had at least one, but less than two active attorneys per 1,000 residents. And so here on the right is the map of, it's kind of a preview of a Power BI visual that we're also going to be made available, where people will be able to sort and look for their counties and get all the data that they have available for this analysis. But what this shows you at a glance across all 58 counties, these counties here, the darkest ones, are counties that are currently in attorney desert. The blue ones are at risk of becoming attorney deserts, and the rest are not. And what ultimately our analysis showed that the number of attorney deserts using that metric has increased from 11 to 16 counties over just the last 10 years. The majority of counties are attorney deserts are becoming one. You should see this evidence on the map. And then we also have some results in the report that show that ultimately the counties that are attorney deserts are at risk of them. They tend to be poorer. They tend to be less populous. And we also did an analysis of rural and urban areas within counties. And there's actually 10 counties that don't have enough attorneys in both their rural and urban areas. And we also just have this analysis where we modeled, well, how much can we draw upon our burgeoning population of inactive attorneys? We got them to participate in a pro bono practice program, which Elizabeth is going to describe briefly. Could that alleviate these shortages that we see? And we find that it's not, that it wouldn't really make much of a dent. And that's because inactive attorneys, for the most part, also don't live in these areas. Okay, so that's the piece on attorney.
Lisa, I know you have a few more slides, but we've really gone over on this section. Okay. So please just wrap it up for the next minute, your remaining slides, so we can move to Elizabeth. Thanks.
Sure. Okay, so I think that we'll just, like I said, you have the slide deck, and we just did an analysis of pro bono attorneys. We did an analysis of legal aid. And let me just say that, our conclusion is, and it's just very clear in the report, though, again, publishing next week, is that our conclusion is that the justice gap is very persistent, widespread. It's deeply entrenched across all income groups. That is really, really key. The barriers we identified 5 years ago, knowledge gaps, still remain in place. and the supply of attorneys and legal services are constrained by many factors, including a legal market that primarily serves organizations, increasing attorney deserts, limited pro bono service. Most California attorneys are not meeting recommended service levels. And we did an analysis of strategies that are current in place. And ultimately they're promising, but they really aren't really operating to scale. So that's our conclusion about the justice gap. Thank you.
And if I may just very quickly, there are recommendations attached to the 2024 Justice Gap Study. We worked in collaboration with the Legal Services Trust Fund Commission to develop these recommendations, and they are aimed predominantly at addressing the services gap because of the existing need and demand. And as you can see, activities include improving the service delivery model, continuing to address the legal aid recruitment and retention crisis, and exploring various partnerships to increase access to justice across all income levels. And last, while we did learn a lot from the 2024 study, there's much more to learn and explore. So there are also recommendations to gather additional data and complete additional analysis in the future.
Thank you. Again, my name is Jennifer Zelnick, and I'm a lead program analyst in the Office of Access and Inclusion. We'll now examine how other jurisdictions are addressing their justice gaps through licensure reform. Next slide, please. Very briefly, licensure reform involves changing how the practice of law is regulated for the purpose of increasing the public's access to legal help. There are 5 major types of licensure reform that you see here. At their core, each of these programs is designed to increase access to legal services without violating a jurisdiction's rules surrounding the unauthorized practice of law. We know that UPL dictates who is and is not allowed to practice law, and it also determines what constitutes the practice of law. These rules are designed, of course, to protect the public. So to briefly address each of these types of programs, an alternative business structure allows non-lawyers to own or manage a law firm and therefore share in the law firm's fees. An alternative pathway to licensure is a means of licensing attorneys other than the traditional pathway. This could involve an apprenticeship, a portfolio exam, or a licensee agreeing to a certain number of years of public service for a lower bar exam pass score. Next, a community justice worker is a trained non-attorney who can provide limited legal services to low-income individuals who are eligible for legal aid. Community justice workers are not licensed and may only provide legal services under the supervision of an attorney who is employed by a legal aid organization or community-based organization. A paraprofessional is a trained legal services provider who is not an attorney. Paraprofessionals are licensed and regulated to provide limited legal services in specific practice areas. Many, but not all, paraprofessional programs permit paraprofessionals to practice without attorney supervision. Lastly, a regulatory sandbox is a space to test out new kinds of legal services and providers that are otherwise disallowed under a jurisdiction's current regulatory framework to see if they can be implemented safely. This often allows entities to test out the other types of licensure reform discussed on this slide, as well as any other programs that might violate UPL. Today, regulatory sandboxes often include tech innovations, such as the use of AI to do work that would otherwise be done by an attorney. Next slide, please. Here we see an overview of licensure reform throughout the United States. Over 49% of jurisdictions have licensure reform programs that are active, in development, or under consideration. Please note that some states have some combination of different statuses. In those instances, the state is coded on this map to demonstrate its highest level of activity. For example, Washington State is shown in dark blue because it has 2 active programs and 1 program that has been sunset. Next slide, please. So these next 3 slides provide further details about the types of licensure reform by jurisdiction. Here, I again want to call attention to states that have more than one program, such as Arizona, which has multiple active programs, and Delaware, which has programs at different stages of implementation. Additionally, note that much of the licensure reform shown on this slide is concentrated around paraprofessionals and CJWs. Next slide, please. On this slide, we see that the most common type of licensure reform is paraprofessionals, although programs range from active in Minnesota, New Hampshire, and Oregon to under consideration or development in several other states. Next slide, please. I would be remiss not to mention Washington's impact on the licensure reform landscape. Washington was the first state to implement a paraprofessional program in 2012. However, its program has now sunset. This means that its 91 licensed paraprofessionals may remain licensed and continue to practice, but no new paraprofessionals may be admitted. Conversely, again, Washington's APL and Sandbox are active. Next slide, please. Now we will look more closely at one example of a program in operation. The posted materials include several more examples, but I'm just going to highlight Alaska here for the sake of time. Next slide, please. Alaska's community justice workers emerged as a means to combat the state's intractable access to justice crisis, which is exacerbated by Alaska's massive geography and the absence of law schools in the state. Alaska's community justice workers are trusted community members who already work or volunteer in their communities. They can be students in university or law school, social workers, tribal leaders, healthcare workers, or others. CJWs in Alaska do not have education prerequisites beyond completing the free training that the Alaska Legal Services Corporation provides. The principle behind the lack of specific education requirements is that with good training and the knowledge these community members already possess, they can effectively perform discrete, limited legal tasks. Alaska's CJW model has been studied by independent researchers, and the results are quite promising. Within a 40-month period, CJWs secured approximately $23.7 million in direct SNAP benefits for clients, which averages out to over $500,000 per month. Additionally, to date, CJWs boast a 100% client satisfaction and success rate. Next slide, please. And we're going to skip two more, I believe. Thank you. Okay, so now, earlier we discussed the State Bar's prior efforts to implement licensure reform to address a justice gap, and I will now briefly present on a legal aid-led proposal for a California community justice worker program. Next slide, please. In December 2024, a working group composed of State Bar-funded legal aid programs, the Legal Aid Association of California, and others published a CJW proposal for California. It seeks to establish a program for CJWs to provide limited legal services to low-income Californians. Through the proposed program, CJWs would provide limited legal services under attorney supervision at authorized legal aid organizations. The proposal recommends the Legal Services Trust Fund Commission to authorize legal services organizations' CJW programs. The proposal also recommends that State Bar grantees, as well as legal aid organizations who are not State Bar grant recipients, could apply to the Legal Services Trust Fund Commission to become authorized legal services organizations. The proposal contemplates a streamlined application process for State Bar grantees who already undergo extensive yearly vetting through the IOLTA application process. Next slide, please. Under the proposal, authorized legal services organizations would be able to train and supervise CJWs to provide legal advice and other limited legal services under attorney supervision, again, to Californians who are eligible for legal aid. Additionally, authorized LSOs would be required to report relevant changes to either their organizations or any individual CJW's status and report certain types of data to the State Bar annually. Next slide, please. This slide outlines the working group's proposed requirements for CJWs, namely that they work only in the limited scope of the program's certification, that they cannot charge any fees, that CJWs must be affiliated with an authorized LSO, and they must meet specific conditions to transfer that affiliation, that CJWs cannot be disbarred or suspended attorneys from any jurisdiction, and that CJWs must adhere to all relevant rules and statutes. Next slide, please. The working group also proposes that the state bar's role in the CJW program would be to maintain public rosters of authorized LSOs, develop a process for authorized LSOs to certify individual CJWs to the state bar, and communicate to the legislature, Supreme Court, and any other relevant authorities about the authorized LSO and individual CJW rosters, as well as any complaints received against CJWs. Next slide, please. The proposal recommends an assessment of the CJW program after 5 years, including information about the number of CJWs and clients served, the impact of the CJW program on participating LSOs, and program costs. Additionally, the proposal outlines 3 potential pathways to address concerns about UPL. These involve new rules of court, a statutory waiver to Business and Professions Code Section 6215, and an order issued by the California Supreme Court. Next slide, please. So to conclude, we've discussed that California's justice gap unfortunately continues to grow. We've discussed past efforts taken by the board and the state bar to address the 2019 justice gap study. And we've discussed that other jurisdictions have demonstrated that licensure reform can expand access to justice safely and responsibly. So to open the discussion, in addition to its current work plans to address the justice gap, what other steps, if any, would the board like the state bar to take? And I'll also note that I presented this information, or the slides that I presented, to the Legal Services Trust Fund Commission on Wednesday. We'll note that a subcommittee of the Legal Services Trust Fund Commission plans to form a working group to provide the CJW proposal with additional feedback and comments. So again, with that in mind, we wanted to open the discussion to see if the board would like the state bar to take any additional actions.
All right, thank you for that comprehensive presentation. Any questions or comments from the board? I feel like something this large, we might need to digest it and maybe come back at a later time to give staff further thoughts. I don't know if that works for, I just turn to staff. Are there any time restrictions? Okay.
No, because I think originally the CJW proposal that's being worked up by these legal services organizations, they had intended to bring it to the board earlier this year. But because of some, my understanding is because of some feedback they got in the legislature, they're putting that off. And so until maybe the next session, so there is some time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm absolutely in favor of these sorts of issues being advanced, but I want to be mindful of the time that we have today. So I think Trustee Harrison will go to Huser and then Grande.
Yes, I'm also in support of these types of issues being advanced. I have a master's degree in criminal justice, and I want to highlight that there is a nexus between access to justice and violent crime. When people are aggrieved and they can't find legal representation or don't have faith in our judicial system, which is another issue, they can engage in violent crime. And I come from a community where there was a lot of that. And I also want to share another example. So I grew up in a household where I was raised by my dad, and we didn't have money to make ends meet, so we brought in boarders. One of the boarders was an immigrant from Asia, and she was escaping an abusive boyfriend. And she didn't know how to go about getting a restraining order. She had no access to justice. And he came around after some time, and eventually she went missing, and he had murdered her. And so if there is somebody like a paraprofessional or a community/legal justice worker who could have provided a service for someone like her, maybe she would be alive today.
Yeah.
I just have a question to ask. I agree with this is a big issue that shouldn't be done on a Friday afternoon as we've been grappling with other things. But my question is, this is asking for the State Bar Board to do something, but there is a Business and Professions Code section regarding the unauthorized practice of law. So I assume, well, I don't know. I'm asking the question, would the State Bar have any authority to overrule a legislative provision?
No, and that's why, we have the statute AB 2958 referenced in the presentation, which really prohibited us from even talking about these issues. This cannot be done without legislative partnership. And one of the benefits of this sort of organic and grounds up approach to developing the CJW proposal in California is it's coming from legal aid. It's not coming from the State Bar, and they are navigating the relationships in Sacramento. But as you could see from Jennifer's slides, there is an expected role for the State Bar. So we need to, that's obviously something you all would need to approve. And there's going to be some resource impact. So once again, we're in a situation where it's a partnership with many different stakeholders involved. But that's short and long answer to your question.
All right, Trustee Grande.
I think it's a question that I would want some more information, like when we discuss this again. It's, with the exception of Arizona, most of the other states that are piloting different programs are focused on specific practice areas. So with what we currently have in the presentation, it seems very broad. So I think I would just want more information in terms of, are we talking about every single area of law, or is it a particular areas of law? Because I think that's a key detail.
Can I briefly address that?
Yes.
So the proposal as it's currently written, and again, the State Bar was not involved in authoring this proposal at all. But as it's currently written, it envisions flexibility for individual authorized legal services organizations to decide on what areas of law would be included in their programs. So if that is a piece of feedback that you would like us to pass on to the authors as the Legal Services Trust Fund Commission works with them, we're happy to do so.
Yes, I think on my end, I would, and I think, yeah, I'll pause there. Thank you.
Yep. All right. I look forward to,
Just real quick, I know embedded in here, we talk about the supply of attorneys or the number of attorneys. Did I miss it, or do we also know the number of maybe folks that might be affiliated or attached to the legal profession, like paralegals? Does this to articulate metrics around that as well?
Lisa or Jennifer, were either of you involved in efforts made to find out how many paralegals there were in California? I know I worked on that with somebody, I can't remember who. It was very difficult. I think it was through there's an ABA subsection or something, but we don't have like a national or a statewide registry. So to my knowledge, we don't have an ability to track all of the non-lawyer staffing that's currently supporting the practice of law now in the state. There is an effort I remember participating in. I can't even remember what source we tried to use.
so I would anticipate that we bring this back at a, hopefully the soonest future date, being in September for the normal Board of Trustees meeting. What I would encourage trustees to do is reach out individually to the staff members who are working on this. If there are any questions that come up, things that that you're thinking about, that generate more ideas. Does that work for the three of you, the three presenters? Perfect. All right.
Thank you. It just
Thank
is
you.
a tremendous
Yes.
work product. It's very impressive. Lisa didn't have a chance to show you what it's going to look like. It's an online report presentation, so you're not sort of bombarded with all the information when you open it up. You can go where you're interested in going. You'll see a big media push on this next week, and we'll send you a link to the online report.
All right. Thank you all for your work. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
That concludes the open session items. And we are now going to go into closed session pursuant to various government codes. First being Government Code Section 11126 sub E, sub 2, sub B, sub I, to discuss conference with legal counsel regarding anticipated litigation. Government Code Section 11126 sub A, sub 1, to discuss performance evaluation of general counsel and appointment process for executive director, and for board sitting as the Regulation and Discipline Committee pursuant to Government Code Section 11126 sub A, sub 1, to discuss performance evaluation of chief trial counsel. And then after closed session is done, I anticipate we'll hopefully come out of closed session about 1 p.m. We will then come out of closed session, conclude the meeting, and then we have a continued meeting regarding the executive director search committee that will start as close to 1 as possible. So that is the plan of attack. Trustees, I anticipate we're going to work through lunch to try and meet these time deadlines. Our presenter in the executive director search committee has a hard stop that we need to try and work with. And I understand we have some scheduling issues for closed session. So we'll now go into closed session pursuant to those code sections. Thank you. Okay. All right. Okay, we're good to go? All right. This is the Board of Trustees. We have come out of closed session, and there are no reportable actions to make. So thank you for your attention. We are now going to be going into the continuation of our executive director search committee meeting. We're coming back from that meeting. It was, I believe, on the 18th? 19th. Previously set on the 19th, continued to today at approximately 1 p.m. We're obviously a little bit beyond that, but we will be taking roll.
Get out of this.
Oh, get out of this one and then, okay.
Yes.
Okay. We're adjourned.